Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 247. You're in podcast heaven here at the Noclip podcast. It's a Crewcast. The whole crew is here. Frank, you got a little coffee action going on there. What you been brewing?
God, it's like the little coffee K-pods. I don't know what the hell they're called. The thing you put in the machines.
K-pod Demon Hunter?
Yeah, K-pods. It's the thing you put in your machine. The environment gets worse, but I get a little bit of caffeine. And it helps me wake up because I set my alarm like 5 minutes before, but I'm here and I'm ingesting caffeine and warmth and the love of my friends and fellow Crewcast mates.
Nice. Very well said. Yeah, we come in with different energies. Jesse's obviously, he's on the East Coast, so he's been up a while. Jeremy's also on the East Coast, but he runs sort of vampiric hours, so
he's actually still sleeping while he's recording this.
Not at all. That's how good he is. He draws eyelids on the eyeballs on the outside of his eyelids. I've usually been up since the ungodly time of 6:30 Pacific because I record a different podcast this morning as well. So I'm also enjoying the beauty of ruining the planet by funding corporations like Starbucks.
Do you know how many houses you could own if you didn't buy that?
If I didn't buy a Starbucks? Not in California, not many.
At least one. I've been told.
I don't know. Maybe you can own a
condo.
Like a plot of land that used to have nuclear waste on it. Maybe I could get some of that.
There's a lot of land in California that used to have cannabis growers on it that is just absolutely trashed and covered in like garbage and plastic barrels and water detritus. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Some of the cheapest land, some of the only cheap land in California.
And it comes pre-baked, as it were.
Yeah, you could if you want to move into a place that has all of the reputation and paraphernalia you need to become an illicit cannabis grower. I mean, you could just buy an AK-47 and roll about humble on like an ATV. You know,
nice. Yeah, this sounds like Schedule 1.
Yes, this is the more rural version.
All over again. Yeah, it's good stuff. How are you doing, Jeremy? How is your? I see you've been stocking up on water.
Yeah, I've had a few comments. I've had some social media posts be like, "What's up with all the waters?"
Something we should know about. You know?
I just drink a lot of water, and if it's the way my brain works is if the water is far away from me at any given moment, I can justify. Oh yeah, like in 15 minutes, I'm thirsty now. In like 15 minutes, I'll go get some water. If it's right here, I will be the most hydrated man in America.
That's what he's aiming for, folks. Make sure you go to www.mosthydratedmaninamerica.com.
That's a charity to fund waters.
Jeremy's journey. He's been waking up 16 times a night, needing to go to the bathroom, but by God, this man will never dry out. Jesse Gracia, what's the driest you've been in your life?
Oh, probably when I was in the Dominican Republic as a child, and we were on the beach. I drank some of the water that you're not supposed to drink, and I couldn't drink water for a couple of days. I was apparently I was just in bed, just on an IV, very dry little kid. Dry
V. That's it's coming out of everywhere. I suspect. I'm quite sick here. I'm not quite sick. I'm tired, is what I am. That's not what sickness is. Because my kiddo was sick over the weekend, so there was a lot of like random, just waking up with night terrors because she has a fever and being like, "What the fuck? Why are you screaming?" She woke up at one stage and was like, "The world." And I was
I feel that.
Was like, so relatable.
Yeah. So relatable. I was like, wow, she's 7. She's already figured that one out.
She's doom scrolling her mind.
Exactly, her mind is. Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's why you're here, folks, so you can listen to us and pretend that everything's okay. We're all pals here, pals in your ears. Don't worry about it. We're going to tell you about something else you can use to blot out the world. Video games. Videojuegos. They're here to transport you into interesting, exciting worlds where you don't have to worry about medical debt or impending fascism. Unless you're playing World of Wolfenstein, I was about to say, which is...
the MMO, the secret MMO you just leaked.
Man, that might be fun. Are we living in the world of Wolfenstein? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Right now, we're going
basically
into now I want to do a podcast episode where we try and figure out what the best single player game to turn into an MMO would be. Maybe that's what we should do this month. We did do Warcraft. Speaking of World of, we did do the Warcraft 2016 movie directed by Duncan Jones. So if you're a Noclip patron, you can go listen to that rather. Much like these people who are probably listening to it right now, our incredible Battle Pass holders, Lovepreet, Yut, Tiny Tal, Dwayne The Rock, Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passateri, It's a Me, Ferrario, Senator Armstrong, Redredge, Harry Flanagan, Juice, Arno, Matt Pearson, James Brown, Mark Ross, Quote, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Hooster, Pez, John Akers, You Ain't Nate, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Dark Insanities. I think that's what my daughter had when she woke up at night time, actually. Jonathan Kremen, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Fatui, Enox, Cameron Laird, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Sokotis, Jacob Godserve, Entheogen, James Med, Tohir Tiliev, and Ryson. Thank you all so much for supporting our work over at patreon.com/noclip. And thank you to all of our month 1 Noclip 2 supporters. We are so grateful to all of you. We definitely need to build more patronage over there to keep that thing healthy, but we are super grateful to everyone who has taken a jump with us over on Noclip 2, and people seem to be enjoying the stuff that's going up there, and I spilled Starbucks coffee all over myself.
What did I tell you? Shouldn't have done it.
We got that. The whole room smells of pumpkin spice now. This is good stuff. Okay, who wants to take over? Who wants to, while I dry this small battery and everything. Don't see how bad it looks. Look how bad it is.
Oh no!
So bad.
It's like most of it.
The worst case scenario.
Okay. You guys talk among yourselves for a minute.
Well, Frank, you're drinking a Keurig pod. Is it a Folgers one? Or did you just get
we just go whatever's at Costco. So whatever, whatever it's not Kirkland, but it's whatever the default thing is. I think I just get the Hawaii flavor. I put cream in it and sugar. But yeah, like I said, we record at 10 a.m. I set my alarm for like 9:20. I always snooze it, and then I have a second one at 9:50. So I get coffee. But that's why I'm always so like tired and not talkative on the podcast, because I'm still waking up. Last night, as I was going to bed, I was like, oh, this is why I was so miserable in school, is I would wake up and they would just throw you in front of a classroom. You'd have to learn about like the Gulf War or something. And it's like, I'm still like, trying like mad about not getting loot and dead mines last night.
Yeah.
And then B, I don't know. But it's like, it takes me so long to wake up. And so that's why I'm always just like, I feel like molasses. I feel so bad.
Do you think you would have had an easier time with algebra if you were allowed to do math like 8 hours later in the day?
No, that's why when I did college, I never had a class after like before 1 p.m. I graduated magna cum laude or whatever it's called. Like I had like straight A's, 4.0 in college because just set your class in the afternoon when I'm awake, and I was so happy I wasn't miserable. Also, that was good because if you had homework due, you could wake up at like 8 a.m., spend 4 hours doing homework or writing papers, show up to class, and it was like, kids just be in night school. I don't know, but I don't know. But I don't know. But it's good exercise, talking and chatting. But
it wakes you up, gets the vocal cords moving. I think for school, for me, it was like I went for early classes, but my school was like an hour and a half drive away, or like I had to take it's called the Go Bus here between Hamilton and Mississauga for school, and like you would go for the morning class, but because of the way they were structured, I'd have one at like 9 in the morning, and then one at like 2. And I'm like, I'm not going home. That's 3 hours of busing. I'll just stay here and not do homework for 3 hours
That's why I started smoking cigarettes in college, is because I would have long blocks of unbroken time.
I had 2 friends who lived within spitting distance of the college, and they didn't mind if I kept an extra PC in their house, so we just go over and play World of Warcraft.
That's sick.
And then
you were taking all of Frank's roles in Dead Mines.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm needing on all that shit. I'm greeding on most of it too.
There's a Panda Express on my campus at Boston University. Ooh. It was the only Panda Express in the area, and there was no Panda Express in northern Massachusetts where I grew up. So suddenly I was like, ooh, cheap, shitty American Chinese food that's actually kind of like weirdly good. No, it's
hard to fuck up Chinese food.
Shitty Chinese food is still good. You know what I mean?
That's like a compliment.
Yeah, like
it's like a genre of Chinese food.
Exactly.
It's not
right.
If you're drunk and you're getting pizza, you're like, oh, dude, I'm fucking hammered. We should get some shitty pizza. It's not like the pizza's bad. It's just like you know what I mean? But
apparently there's no bad pizza. Frank, you set off an entire war in the Discord on your comment about there being no bad pizza.
Who was giving out? Pizza? Chicago people?
Everyone was, there was like, no, there are bad pizzas. I've had them. They're in St. Louis.
People need to hate things to love things.
That is, you can't enjoy ice cream without the broccoli or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That's why
Wait,
we love
I don't know. I love
elaborate.
broccoli.
Speak on that, my brother.
That's what I heard John Green say 14 years ago on a YouTube video, and I never forgot it because it sounds dumb as hell. I love broccoli and I love ice cream. I can think ice cream is delicious. Actually, maybe his argument may have been you don't really need the broccoli to appreciate the ice cream. I think that might have been what it was.
That's the opposite of what.
It's the opposite of what I thought he had said. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to be sticky for this whole podcast. I think
You usually are.
That's true. Also, what's really annoying is that the button for start recording is still up on my thing, even though we're recording. So I'm going to hit the button again and just see what happens. Let's see. Maybe it'll stop it.
Sure.
No, it didn't do anything. It didn't get rid of the pop-up either. So nothing's
Continued
changed.
to start recording.
Yeah. All right. God, I'm so sticky. This is awful. This is going to be Frank's tired. I'm sticky. Jeremy's too hydrated. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about some video games. Can I talk about baby steps?
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can.
Baby steps. I'd barely taken my own baby steps into the world of baby steps. I'm literally washing this table now. When we talked last week, I played maybe an hour. I don't know how many hours I've played now, but it feels like a lot. It feels like I've played, I don't know, 10 hours. Probably not. I don't know.
Wow.
Have you guys touched it at all?
I
I've
played
not.
the beginning again, basically like 5 minutes after where the demo ended. I want to play more. It's just, do I want to do that right now to myself? I think is the problem I'm having. I did see some footage of donkey men though.
Yeah. Did you see the penises?
I saw blurred footage of it because I don't think anyone would upload
you have to opt in at the start. They ask you, do you want to see? They don't say donkey penises, but they say, do you want to see nudity?
some
And I'm
explicit sexual content.
yeah, I'm not sure if I call it explicit. It's just dongs. It's just hanging dongs.
For video games, that's pretty explicit.
Yeah, I've got farm animals, man. I see hanging dongs all the time. I guess they're all, but, Anyway, yeah, and I grew up in Europe, so, just penises on television.
Guys
for 2
just
seconds.
walking around,
Exactly.
hanging
Euro
out.
trash.
Yeah.
So I adore baby steps. It's like going to be definitely top 10 games of the year for me. It is such a special, weird thing. It's funny and it's silly and it's like, it's a bit of a meme game, but like design wise and execution and controls, it's absolutely fantastic. It's like it's like Rock Band where now I am just zen with it. If I don't think about what I'm doing with my hands with the controllers, I'm able to just do things. I'm like, I know how to touch the analog stick and the triggers when I'm on mud. I know how I'm supposed to like throw my character's weight around and how specific I should be in these areas and where I should worry about falling and the cadence of my walking. Should I be taking big steps if I'm walking uphill on something that's going to have soil that gives out, or should I be taking little steps if I'm running downhill on something that's sandy? Like there's all these it's just like great. It's this great game design language that I've never experienced, and it's kind of like what I hoped I'd get out of Death Stranding or something, where like
what you're describing is making me think, because people were like, oh, navigation in Death Stranding is the hardest part of it. Like you have to be cognizant of what you're going to step on. And it sounds like Baby Steps is doing that to the extreme. Like you have to be thinking about every single step you take and not like, oh, this is the snow part, this is downhill. Is that...
Yeah, Death Stranding is mostly about like the weight, right? It's about like how much stuff you have on and the risk reward, and your center of gravity gets higher. Yeah, so then you're like, to your point, you're trying to figure out which way to throw your weight and stuff like that. But in a way, Death Stranding is, and it feels weird comparing it because obviously Death Stranding has like also loads of other systems and crazy big story beats and all this stuff, but and combat and things. But the actual movement in Death Stranding is more like you're trying to avoid when the gravity goes wrong. Like you're trying to avoid being losing your balance. Whereas in Baby Steps, you are constantly gaining your balance. It's like every time you walk properly is a small victory. It's this tiny little victory. So it feels less like you are trying not to mess up and more that you were trying to achieve good like movement, you know what I mean? So it just feels more positive in that respect. And so it's really satisfying. Your character is an absolute doofus. He's like the world's biggest loser. He doesn't take a help or advice from anyone just because he's socially awkward, even when he clearly needs the help and the person is clearly not put out by it whatsoever. He's like, no, I'm okay. I got it. I've got it. You know, don't worry about it. He's just like Olympically socially awkward. Such a loser, and he's in like a onesie and all this. But by like hours and hours into this game, I was like really proud of him because he like managed to achieve like getting around all these places. Like the levels are funny and interesting and zany. Like it's clearly this weird, fantastical realism world. There's all these donkeys that you party with every night, and they're kind of messing with you, and you know, they're like trying to get you to use your one wish. You get one wish when you get to the castle at the end, and if you get there, he's like, "Shut
up! You're just saying words now."
Yeah, and the donkey's like, "Could you know,
party
do
with
me a
the
favor?"
donkeys, and you get a wish when you go to the castle.
And one of the donkeys is really trying to convince you to wish for cigarettes because they're out of cigarettes.
Okay, now this is now you're just reciting one of your daughter's fever dreams.
Yeah, this sounds amazing, but this is not the pitch that I thought the game was going to be. I thought it was just like QWOP. Like third person.
No, the story stuff is
HD
brilliant.
QWOP.
The story,
yeah, wow.
And it's like, and also like, you know, I am going to basically try and not talk about this as much as possible because it goes interesting places, but it's like there are moments where it is very sincerely heartfelt, and you're like,
wow.
Oof, okay. And there's like real growth between these weird characters that you only meet, you know, a couple of times, and yeah, but the actual process of play. So first of all, my wife and daughter love watching me play it. It's such a weird game to sit down and play.
Do you have the nudity filter on?
Oh yeah, no, I keep the donkeys away
right.
when she's Donkey sightings are usually hours apart, so it's not that big a deal. But like, so the thing is, the way the level design works in this is super, super fascinating. Like, because it takes so long to cross a space, that is basically the currency that the game is playing off. So yes, there are moments where you can fall and slide down the side of a mountain and have to come back up again. That's really not that rare, not that common. And honestly, when it does happen, more often than not, it's the game telling you are going the wrong way, probably. Like, we're trying to send you back down so that you can come back up maybe the right way. It's not a game about that. It's not a game about, which I feel like QWOP is, right? Like, or not, maybe not QWOP, but getting over it, right? Yeah. Which is a game where like, I fell the whole way back down because I did, and now I got to go back up, and it's that struggle. To me, that's not really what this is. To me, this is, there's something cool off the beaten path. Do you want to waste some time going over there? Or like, there's this weird quest that we're giving you that you don't actually have to do. Like, you'll just see a sign at one of the early what do you call them? The Firewatch towers, right? There's a couple of them around, and you'll see one which is like, my family lost our prized cup. Drop it here, and you can go and look for the cup, or you might find the cup later and then be like, oh, do I go all the way back and drop it off there? So it's less so that it's like challenging you to like redo an area, and that's the tension. It's more like, hey, do you want to spend like 90 minutes just walking in this direction? It's not really the critical path of the game, and experiencing something that might be cool. And it's such an interesting like decision to be making as somebody playing this game. There's one point in the game, and again, I don't want to get into it too much, but there's one point in the game where I felt I had an abundance of things to do, and I had this real moment where I was going, is this the end of it, or should I keep going? Is there more story, or should I spend like 3 hours just exploring this area, or should I go back? Like, there's one part where you climb up. It's one of the moments where you've climbed quite high, because the game does a lot of like sort of plateaus where the world, you know, you got up to this point and clearly you can see a lot of the world behind you, but then you go into the next area and you're safe again, right? It's like there's no way of falling all the way back down again. You're just going to be here. Now, this is one of these moments where I was incredibly high, and there was a guy sitting at the end of a pier that was hanging over it.
All right.
And I walked over, and it triggered a cutscene. And it's a guy I'd met before. He's like some dude who's on a walk, and he's like sitting there, and he's like, and my guy's like, oh, what you doing? And he's like, oh, I've just been sitting here, like, I've been sitting here for like 4 or 5 hours. So I was just thinking, like, I could jump, And he's like, because you don't die here, right? Because like there's no fall damage, right? In this game, you can just fall as long as you want, you'll be fine. Unfortunately, you just have to walk all the way back up again. So he's like, there's nothing, I could die, or I won't die, but he's like, my guy's like, yeah, but you'll have to walk all the way back up. And he's like, yeah, I guess I would. Like, I probably don't want to do that, do I? And he's like, no, I probably don't. He's like, yeah, all right, okay. I was just thinking about it. Maybe I would. And then he gets up and leaves, and the game clicks back into the game, and you're standing at the end of the pier. So it's doing that stuff where it's like, hey, you want to do something? You want to do something stupid? You want to go on a weird quest? You want to throw away 4 hours of walking up this hill? Maybe something cool would happen. And it's so fun and playful. I really think it's a fantastically well developed game. It's playing with this sense that I have as a gamer of like objective and like, why am I doing this in a way that is like very new and interesting. I love the writing. I love the world design. There's constantly interesting new things that I'm having to figure out about how to cross certain things. I don't want to get too specific about it because I think those moments of revelation are quite interesting and fun. But yeah, it's genuinely really, really good. And it's playing with this in this design space that I've never experienced before. And I think that's what I'm enjoying the most. That and just the mastery. Like, it's a game about mastery. It's really strange. It's about like learning how to walk.
I think it's cool that it recontextualizes that. It makes that the thing that you have to master. It's something that we just sort of accept as a thing that you do when you're playing a video game. Is like, I can walk. The left stick takes you forward. But like here, it's making you think about it in ways that the previous games sort of have. But also, it's like when you say mastery, it's usually about parry windows or like combos or like figuring out how to juggle in the air long enough in Devil May Cry. This is like, no, taking one step forward and making that something that's innate again, instead of just being an accepted thing when you pick up a controller. That is like, such a smart design decision. I think that's fantastic.
And imagine the satisfaction that like, a climber has when they look at a wall and then when they're on the top and they're looking down, or like a child walking up a set of stairs for the first time. It's like, it's that fun of like you can see each little area. You're like, okay, I gotta get across this. All right. And then when you do it, and my favorite moment is there are moments of panic where like you're losing grip or one of your feet is sliding. Because the thing is, like, you learn after a while that it's not necessarily always about having your feet planted. Sometimes you can have your feet planted, and because there's extra weight on one of them, it starts to slide. And so you end up doing is stuff that you do when you like are walking, like going on a hike somewhere, where especially somewhere where it's like there's loose ground or it's slippery, where you start to like anticipate that you're going to lose your footing. So you like, there are times where I'm trying to get up like a step and it's too high for one foot, but there's like a side wall. And so what I'll do is I'll put my first foot up on that wall just so I can transfer weight onto it enough to get the other leg up. Yeah. So you start doing all like tricks that basically like the actual like walking model is very quote unquote realistic. So you intuit like, if I just kind of like lean forward, like sometimes the gaps are too big for you to like properly plant both feet while having enough balance. So what you do is you like step one forward, and then before that one touches, you lift the other so you can get up onto it. Like, wow. It's very slick and cool. And then one of my favorite things is you'll notice it. Actually, I won't say it. But there are opportunities where you have to grab things in the world, and the way that the game handles grabbing things is very funny. Because like in most games, when you grab something, you just get close enough and you press a button and it appears in your inventory, right? Or a canned animation grabs. In this game, everything's physical. So like, hey, if there's like something hanging from a tree and you're like standing on the edge of a rock wall, you have to hold X for him to like lean out and grab it. So you better make sure that by the time his hand is at the thing, that you are balanced enough.
Oh man.
So it's like it's great. Yeah, Baby Steps is fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to play it. It's I hope I'm not overselling it, but I really genuinely love it, and it's a chill out game for me. I thought it would be a game like a Dark Souls-y experience. Well, I'll have to like, okay, I got to get through another area in baby steps. I got to do. It's the complete opposite. Even if I don't make that much progress, I'm like, yeah, that was fun. That was weird.
In a weird way, I feel like it sounds soothing in the same way that Dark Souls is soothing to me, where like sort of the genius of Bennett Foddy's games to me is that it takes these incredibly frictional experiences and intuitively you're like, okay, well, this is going to be horrible because I'm going to constantly lose progress or like fall or fuck up if I lose focus for 1 second. But I think what actually happens with a lot of these like frictional games, but like well-designed frictional games, is that when you create like a triumph out of the smallest little bit of progress, it sort of feels like a constant, like the game is patting you on the back for, you know, making your bed and doing the dishes. Almost. Like these tiny little things become small victories. And so it sort of imbues the whole experience with this momentum of like, you know, like in Dark Souls, you're like, I beat this like one guy, or I can consistently beat this guy to get to the boss door now, or like something that used to be impossible for me is now attainable. So I don't know. I find very frictional games relaxing in a weird way because it's like the bar I set of expectation for myself is so low that like any progress I make, I'm like, I fucking did it. I made it up the stairs. Like, look at me go.
And yeah, you're right. And you're speaking to what I think the sense that I get when I look back in this world is I don't look back and go, oh, I hope I don't fall the whole way down. Because I think it's generous in how I think it's a generous game in how it like deals with difficulty. I think there are challenges and there are areas that are hard. But it's never spiteful about it. And so, like you said, like every step to me feels like a victory. And then I get these like bigger victories when I get over an area that is tricky. And then I have these other victories when I have reached into a new biome and I know I'm past the forest or past the desert or past the whatevers, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to talk about it, I think, for Game of the Year stuff. I bet it'll be on our shortlist for sure. Baby Steps, available now. Is it only on Steam? I think so.
No, is it?
Is it on
PS5
everything?
as well, you said, I believe.
Oh, it is.
Right?
You're right. Sorry, yeah, it is. PS5 as well. I'm sure it'll come to other stuff. Wow, it only has 517 reviews on Steam.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 1,000 for some reason.
Isn't that crazy?
Not that crazy. It's pretty
Isn't
good.
that?
It's a Devolver
it's
Digital
like
published game.
It's kind of like what you mentioned. Like it looks like a game for streamers or for YouTube people.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you're selling people and actually playing it.
Yeah. I mean, Getting Over It has 40,000. Granted, that game is like, you know, $5 or whatever. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm a little
It has only
surprised.
been
I
a
would have
week,
thought
though.
this game would have had a hotter launch.
Oh,
than
you're
that.
surprised it's low.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been out. It's only been out a week. I suppose that's right. I don't know. All right.
I think this is just a bad window to be releasing. Releasing. It's because I heard the Australian accent in the game. To be releasing a game just in general. Like it's so hard to get eyes on stuff at this current moment because every day is like, here's a Game of the Year contender. That's a 90 on Metacritic. You better go buy it.
Even if it's a guy in a onesie walking.
That's not enough. It's not enough for the gamers.
All right. Well, leave your reviews, folks. Leave your reviews.
It's an interesting, like, Baby Steps, I feel like, has a weird sort of, like, looking at the label of the cereal box identity to it. Because I think that, like, Bennett Foddy's games largely being sort of, like, 2D. They had I feel like Bennett Foddy's games often have this sort of, like, flash game feel to them that I think makes it like, oh, this game is so hard, and you're like, all right, cool. Well, like it looks like it's just some sort of like advanced version of a Newgrounds type game. You know, like let me just jump into it and play a little bit of it. Whereas I feel like Baby Steps is like, oh, I'm gonna go on this whole fucking voyage, but with like a Foddian level of friction.
Yeah,
I think it's like convincing people to play something like you know, like Getting Over It or like Jump King, like not a Bennett Foddy game, but like a Foddian game.
Foddian is so good. I like it.
Yeah. Foddian Slip. That's what they should call. That should be the lead on the review.
No, a Foddian Slip, but like you could call a game that and no one would ask a question.
That is a great byline for a review on Baby Steps. But I think that when you see something like Getting Over It or Jump King or Quap, you're like, oh, this is just like a little experience. And then you get into it and spend more time with it. Whereas Baby Steps looks like a game that is going to take a long time to, you know, to not only to like master, but to complete or to have any sort of like longitudinal experience with.
Full fat game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like it looks like a fucking AAA open world game, but you're like, oh, but I can, you know, it's impossible to take 10 steps or something. I think it may be like a combination of factors that it seems a little sort of like the subconsciously it feels a little daunting to jump into.
Cool because Frank like was saying earlier that it looks like a streamer game, like, but from the way Danny's describing it, like it sounds like it's a lot more involved. Like it's not just Because I was with him. I was like, oh, this is just one of those games where you fall a bunch and it's funny watching the guy in the onesie
this is a game. This is a video game. I think it would be a great game to watch. You know, like I said, my daughter and wife were happy to watch me play it. I think it does work as a streamer game. But this is a game. This is a game with like shit to do. And well, not, you know, it's a game where you're walking. But like it's not. This is not some weird meme game. It's actually like doing some cool stuff for sure.
I also feel like the idea of I feel like Bennett Foddy's games are sort of misunderstood as meme games, where it's like, oh, they're so hard because it's going to be like this is rage bait or something. And I think that a lot of the games that have been spawned in the wake of Bennett Foddy's work have been rage bait games. Like I'm not saying those don't exist because there are a million of them, but I feel like Bennett Foddy's work specifically and some of the stuff inspired by it is just like is frictional because it's interesting to create these hyper frictional experiences as games, not as like like spectacle of like watching someone fucking fail and scream and pull their hair out. But because there are like interesting types of experience that you can curate by having a game, like I said, that, you know, beats the shit out of you. So every little bit feels like a victory.
Baby steps, $20 on Steam. A little bit less at the moment because got that little early window sale going on as well. Check it out. It's some good stuff. You want to be freaked out by Steam reviews? Consumi has 172.
Wow.
That doesn't.
Right.
Is that again surprising because it's too low, or because that sounds too low? That sounds par for me. That's not that surprising. That sucks. It should be more, but also, yeah, I played a lot of great games this year.
Silent Hill F, we're going to talk about in a second. That's got 3,294.
So makes sense.
That does not surprise me. Consume Me, I feel like is I don't know. I feel like most people, if you're not super into games as art, I think you would see that and be like, oh, that's one of them. That's one of them art games.
Yeah, that's a sticker game.
That's
for
one
girls.
of those art
I'm not
games.
playing one of them art games.
That's one of those brain games.
Oh, what am I gonna feel some feelings in this
I don't
one or
want to
something?
cry. I'm here to shoot
Todd's
stuff.
not a bad feeling stuff.
Why is his name Todd?
I don't know. Todd Howard. That's
Oh
my name.
no!
Oh no, just not the same Todd Howard. Just
I'm
a
not
southern
a different guy. I'm a different guy.
Just a southern gamer named Todd Howard.
All right, Frank. I know Silent Hill F's a big one, but I want to talk to you about Crime Boss. What is it?
Boss Rockay City.
This is the Michael Madsen thing that I saw months ago, right?
yeah,
I forgot
Rooker.
this game existed. Like I saw it on the list, the sheet this week, and I was like, when did this thing come out? Was it last year? Or?
I think this came out 2023.
24, it says here, June 18th on Steam, apparently.
It's 23 on Xbox, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or was it an early access or something?
Maybe.
This was like the game where the trailer came out and they were like, we're really trying to get that Grand Theft Auto 5 audience over here. That is the vibe I got. What is this thing? Is it online co-op or something?
So Crime Boss City is basically Payday, but it's like they made it for divorced dads. It was like entirely, but it's awesome because I love it, but it's like, I don't think there's anyone younger than me who would give a shit about this game. It is, so it's a game that very much is going for the tone of like Grand Theft Auto 5. It's got like, it has the worst. There's so much like it is one of those pinnacles of like this game is so bad it's awesome. Mechanically, it's Payday. The premise of the game is you exist in the city that's basically a fake Vice City, crime city. You're assembling teams, you're cracking safes, you're robbing banks, you're killing cops. But the whole time you're playing either as like Michael Madsen, Danny Trejo. There is Sheriff Chuck Norris and all the all the D-list actors. They do all their takes in one line reading. So wow. Chuck Norris like is all his line delivery is like super flat. So playing it with friends, it's like genuinely a hysterical experience. The reason I played this, I wanted to get it when it came out. Like I remember keeping an eye out on the Steam pages and stuff, and immediately had like mixed reviews. And I was like, okay, I'll wait. Now it was $2 on Steam, so I was literally $2 on Steam. So I was like gifting it to friends, getting to play.
I don't know why that's so funny.
It's included on the PlayStation Premium, the PlayStation. I don't know. It's not like the basic PlayStation Plus, but it's the PlayStation Extended Premium.
Sony needs to fix this stupid naming. It's so annoying. I think you're right. I think it's Premium or it's Plus.
Yeah,
something like that.
So I downloaded it and immediately was like, oh, this is like I was shocked because my friends and I made a lobby, and I was like, no one's playing this. And someone immediately who was like level 170 joined and was like carrying us.
Finally, friends.
Yeah, I can't believe it, because this feels like a game that no one's playing. But now it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, mechanically I like it. Again, there's something so funny about like all the AI in the game is extremely stupid. So you're supposed to like stealth through these bank robberies. You can literally like walk in front of them and like you knock them unconscious. You zip tie their hands behind their backs. You can escort them in the closets. It's almost like Hitman-esque. But the whole time, Michael Madsen and everyone is just. So this game was developed by not by the Czech Republic, by in-game studios in the Czech Republic. Okay. But it's very much like people who grew up watching 80s action movies and wanted to write their own. But there's just something so like just kind of off and cheesy about the dialogue. But every other word is the F word. Like so like
wow.
Like it feels like it was written by 12-year-olds. And it's like so playing this, it's like incredible. So yeah, Crime Boss Rockay City. The online mode is doing heists. There's cutscenes for it. The single player.
Wait, there's single player?
There's single player, and in the main menu, it's even called roguelite mode. So the premise of the single player is kind of like the Godfather games, or maybe Saints Row or San Andreas, where you're claiming territories. So it's almost like Dynasty Warriors Empires, where you have your crime boss empire, and you're leveling up your crime boss. You have gangs, and you're supposed to take over enemy territories. One of the 3 gang leaders. There's one gang owned and operated by Vanilla Ice.
Wow.
One gang that's operated by Danny Trejo. And you're just doing missions.
Dude, this game is so epic bacon. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Does Vanilla Ice's whole team have ice written on the back of their cop
Oh, I hope
things?
not.
I don't think so. I forget. They have a different thing, but yeah, you can kill cops like gleefully. It's the way the AI is. It's very like Monster Closet. Honestly, it's kind of like Left 4 Dead. Like hundreds of cops will just start showing up in cop cars. You can blow up the cop cars. It's so nuts.
This game sounds based.
Yeah. You can also like shoot civilians. And there's no penalties. Like it's so absurd. And the frame rate will like slow down to like 18 frames per second on console. But it's kind of cinematic because it's like 24 frames per second. And Jean-Luc Godard said that life is, what is it? Life is fiction, slow down to 24 or something like that. I don't know. But it's very cinematic. It's very awesome. But it's so absurd, but I genuinely like playing it, and I want to keep playing it. But yeah, it's very fun to play with friends, and it has a Call of Duty Zombies mode in it.
Nice.
I think they call it Nightmare City, and there's gang members who all of a sudden their eyes are fuming like fire, and they're chasing after you, and it's just straight up Call of Duty Zombies mode. But
that's what cops see actually by default because of the pill they make them take.
They have the They Lives glasses. That's what those big black aviators they have on. Cops
the nectar from haze they have to take. Yeah.
What a pull.
I have a question about this game. On the Steam page, I feel like the screenshots have like within the screenshots on the Steam page from left to right, there is sort of an arc where it's like starts out and you're like, oh, this is like the Battlefield Hardline Left 4 Dead. And then by the time you reach the later screenshots, there's like City 17 guards and there's like robot cops and the criminals look like weird, I don't know, like juggalos at Mardi Gras. Is this like, does it become fantastical or is it, I'm so confused. It doesn't seem fantastical until you hit screenshot like 8.
Yeah, so I think those are like the DLC. So the base missions, it's already goofy, but then by the I did buy the DLC because that was on sale too. The game
There's
does
a lot of DLC.
The game does a cool thing where your teammates don't need to have the DLC as long as the host does. So I bought the DLC and they can invite people to my lobby. So the second DLC pack is straight up like Terminator. You're basically fighting Skynet. But it's ridiculous because that's Michael Madsen fighting Skynet. So it's like, look at all these fucking robots. Holy shit. Like, that's the dialogue the entire time. It's just like, the fucking cops are on the way. What the hell are we going to do? Like, it's so silly. And yeah, you're fighting robots. It's so absurd. And the funniest thing is, like, this is a game that nobody's played. Like, this is so nuts.
It has 65 reviews on Steam. Oh, no, wait, that's the DLC. Sorry. No, the game has
3,300.
3,300.
It also launched on Epic Games. Maybe you're missing 5 or 6 reviews from that total.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Damn.
That's important.
The idea that this game has so many recognizable celebrity names and you bought it for $2 is like endlessly hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm picturing like someone pitching, like having full knowledge of the trajectory of this game's development and sales. I mean, like, yeah, we're going to make a game It's gonna have Michael Madsen and Vanilla Ice. They're like, all right, I mean, yeah, that sounds cool. They're like, no, get this, it's gonna be $2.
I'm not sure if this is in its favor or not, but the $2 is of course a sale price, but it is a 90% off sale, which is that's aggressive. You can also get all of the complete collection for $25 down from $60. So that's 60% off. And you get all of the character packs, including the Jupiter character pack, the Cracker character pack.
Whoa!
Let's check that one out.
I think is a safe cracker.
He's
I
a
looked
safe
it up.
cracker,
Yeah,
but
I didn't.
He is a white guy
guys.
though.
Yeah,
it is a white man.
Yeah. And yes, of course, the aforementioned Cagnali's Order, which is the robot ass looking one. Baker's Bundle is another one, presumably a Bakersfield level. It feels like it's would work here. No, it's
who's Yellow? Is this a Vanilla Ice friend?
Halo is a Vanilla Ice.
Wow. Baker is Michael Madsen's guy, I think. The way it looks at it. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Frank, for venturing into the world of Rockay City for us and coming back with this this important report on Crime Boss. Pick it up now for $2, folks. If you wanna have a weird time, it sounds like. Jesse,
sure.
Hell is Us. How's it going?
Hell is Us. It's going. So do you guys know anything about this game? Have you seen it before?
Third person action game, looks kind of high budgety, but is I don't know. People say it sounds like it's wedged between a couple of different genres or game sort of archetypes. Yeah,
I'd say that's a fair acknowledgement of what it is, because it's hard to describe and yet is also very simple. This game's weird. It's like, it's not. So Hell is Us is a third person action game, but like
full price, right? $50.
Well, yeah, I guess AA full price. Published by Nacon, developed by a new studio called Rogue Factor, led by Jonathan Jacques Bellet or Belletet. Maybe is how you say it. The creative director on Deus Ex Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, I believe.
Okay.
Like, cool. Like, I had no idea that they had a new studio and that this was their game until I started playing it. And the first thing you hear is the player character, whatever his name is, voiced by... Yeah, it's just his voice actor.
Oh, really?
Not even doing a different voice.
Wow, okay.
Actually, the opening of this game, because that is the genre description. It is a third-person action game with puzzles and there's weird stuff going on. You can call it a Souls-like if you want. I feel like that's an unfair connection. But the way the game opens is a cutscene where your player character, who has clearly the wrong haircut for this character model. It's like the broccoli curly haircut on like a 40-year-old man, and it's blonde. It makes no sense.
Broccoli got 2 shout-outs on this pod this week.
We love the broccoli. We are funded. And across from you, you're being interrogated by a very scary looking, like, he looks like his name is Cheeseburger Man or something. Like he would be in a Kojima game if no one told him no, I guess earlier in his career. Very weird character design. And then the through line of the game, and this is their big selling point for it, is that there is no direction. So the whole thing, you have no map, there's no objective markers, there's no like explicit compass. You have a compass in the game that you can use to orient yourself, but not like an on-screen HUD thing. Nobody gives you an explicit point to go to, except for when you want to transition between maps. And the whole experience is you deciphering what is going on in this world that's been ravaged by a civil war that's been sort of taking place over the last couple centuries. And you're trying to find your parents. That's the opening mission. Your parents are from this place called Hadia, and you're looking for them. And apparently they're in this small town. You eventually get there, and then the story sort of branches out from there. You learn about this society and like the war between the Palamists and the Sabinians and what's going on there and the conflict. And I mean, gameplay wise, the combat is not great. It is a third person action game. You're doing sort of big slashes. You have different weapons, but they're not like, it's not overly deep. All the enemies are these big, crazy, like white, no-faced creatures.
Yeah, we should probably mention for folks who've never seen this game that this is not, because some of this sounds like it's fantasy. This is like sci-fi. This is very futuristic looking, futuristic weapons, sort of like post-futurism, maybe, something like that.
I'd say the Kojima comparison is pretty apt as well, because like your player character is wearing a black poncho and has a drone that sits on their shoulder like a little bird that can detach and fly around and do other stuff. You maneuver between locations in an APC with like a bunch of computer screens inside of it, but the world itself isn't particularly science fiction-y. Like the town that you get to is very rural Europe. I think this is supposed to take place in like, you know, it opens with that long message of, I swear, nothing here is supposed to be related to anything. We're not using any names for legal reasons. And then the first thing you see basically of like a named thing is the ON, which is definitely not the United Nations, going into Haiti and saving stuff. Yeah, but the gameplay, the combat is not very, very deep. But like there's a lot of it. It's sort of like half the game. It's like that Dark Souls closed in thing. You do dungeons, you do big open combat area stuff. The thing that's appealing about it though is the thing that they're pointing to, and I don't know if they're going deep enough on it. So I got to the end of the first act, and like I said, there's no map markers, there's no like explicit delivery of any information. You have to learn everything on your own. You will be lost a lot, but like designing a game like that can be so disorienting. Like there's not a ton of games that can pull that off. I feel like it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and they do awesome. Baby Steps does it really well. Baby Steps is no, you know, it doesn't imply you're supposed to go up this way, but it's actually really smart in how it kind of, it's almost non-Euclidean at times. I don't want to get into it too much, but it does a really good job of similarly not really telling you anything and like, adapting to you. But yeah, how does this one sort of, is it less effective, do you think?
So like when you do it in a narrative game, I feel like there's a lot of things you have to do to still direct the player in some regard. Like if you want to give someone a quest and you want to tell them to navigate a place they've never been before, you either need to really tightly railroad it, right? There's probably a million ways you could do it, but like every instance I've seen of it is really tightly railroaded, so it's super linear. Or it's this sort of game where it's really broad and really wide, but everyone talks like they're in a simulation. Like it feels even more fake. Because when you talk to a quest giver, they'll be like, you know, I need this item from over here. It is north of the camp. And it's like, that's not how people talk. Like you say, it's over there, or it's past this building. Like maybe once in a blue moon you should hear that, but that's like most of the conversation. One person said around the corner, but it's like, yeah, there's nowhere else to go. Just keep following the road that I was already told to go on. It's not a knock. It's just like, I think my issue here is I've played so many games like this that are trying to deliver this information in interesting ways, that this version of it feels so scaled back. Like it's definitely trying to appeal to people. Like if this is the first time you've played a game that's not doing quest markers and objective stuff, this is probably awesome. Like I think the way it tells its story, I think the way that it communicates what war does to people and places, the stain it puts on your heart, but also the stain it puts on the world. Like the game communicates that stuff really, really well. That is its strongest point, is its storytelling and its ability to deliver that information to you if you care about it. Like it forces you to care, to follow along. I just don't know how many people are going to be willing to get into that. That's
so. What do you say? Are you saying that like you're not motivated to do it? Like like what are you doing in this game? Like, is there one main quest line that you're following? Are there loads of things to do and you're having to like write down where you're going, or is it just is the thing just that like it's hard to find the next place you're supposed to go to?
Yeah, so it opens with you having that quest of like going to find your parents. And I thought it was going to be a bunch of investigations. There's this like data pad that you can pull up, which is basically just your, you know, we don't have a HUD. There's no UI. There's no menuing except for the menu that you pull up. And when it comes up, it plays this animation every time for some reason. You can disable that, which is nice, but like it's needlessly long for how often you have to go into that. And you can see all the investigations you have. It actually reminds me of the Outer Wilds, not the Outer Wilds, but the Outer Wilds' screen where you could like see all of the bits of information that you've got and the web of investigations you can go on in that game. But it's only like one thing. And each of the points off of that is like, oh, we've recorded what this person said, and you can highlight them and it'll give you all their information. And basically you're just like told you need to go find something, and you infer based on the information that you're given where you might need to go. Sometimes it's obvious. They'll give you like an item with it's a map and there's like an arrow telling you where to go. Follow that. And someone will tell you where to go in the next bit of the story. So it's just like, I mean, it's not too different from playing like Dark Souls. Like you have to go find Firelink Shrine, and then you got to go ring the 2 bells. Where are the bells? You got to figure that out on your own by adventuring and being willing to be scared or unsure of where you're going. Sort of accepting the friction of being unsure. Like it's a fun experience in theory, but I got to the end of the first act, checked the achievement completion percentage, and just barely over a third of people finished the first act of this game, which is, I think, when the game starts, because Act 2 is like way bigger. It talks more about the politics and maybe 6 to 8 hours, give or take. Like it's not that long. But there's not a lot, like a handful of these gate puzzles that are like, you go into a big area and they're like, here's a million things. Which 4 do you need to combine the numbers on them to solve the puzzle? And it's like it's not cryptic. It's just like, there's a lot of pieces to it. It's such a hard game to describe because it's just like you play it and it makes sense, but it's just, I don't know. There's not really, like, it's so hard because literally the whole point of playing the game is learning what's going on, is being confused and then not being confused anymore. The coolest thing to me was this moment where I'm adventuring in this world, this big, dark, sad, grim field, basically, that you walk through in the opening area. You can see this big city to the distance. It's your first sort of point, but you turn your head and you see this big church with this eye symbol that's important to the one group of people that prayed there. And like you go over there and they're like, you can't go in here, go to the village of Jova. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll go over there. But on the way, I killed these enemies. And upon killing them, I got a notification on the screen that's like, you killed the time loop guardian. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, eventually you find out what that means. And I was like, that's really cool. And the through line of that is really cool. Like, I'm telling you, this is one of those games that like, you need to play a demo of it. And I don't think there's one anymore. I really like it. I really wish I could communicate.
Wait, you do like it?
So that's the thing, is I like it, but like,
it sounds like you've been shit talking this game for 15 minutes.
That's a shame. If that's what I've been doing, I apologize, because I do like the game. Cool. It's just like, again, I think if you played like, oh my God, what is that game I played last year or 2 years ago?
Are you answering to like a public critique that we're not of?
No. This is not a public critique. This is my own perspective on it. Okay. I would never argue about a thing I've never heard someone say, or you guys haven't. I would at least introduce it. There's no consensus on this. I feel as though I like this game. I wish it was deeper. Like, there's so much to it where it's just being very explicit, but also arguing that it's not. Like, we're not giving you any leading direction on anything, except there's only one way you can go, right? It's like you have to be hyperlinear to tell this kind of story in the way that they want to tell it. And I think they succeed in telling the story. So is it wasting
your time? Or
no, it's not wasting my time.
Do you just wish the story was do you wish the story was deeper? Do you wish the combat, like, what's the thing that you would like less or more of, I guess, would be the way I'd ask it.
I think the direction of it, works. I do wish there was more. I wish that there was more investigations. I wish that there was more variety to the combat, because it's kind of fighting the same 6 kinds of enemies. And I wish the areas were a little bit bigger. You get to this location where you reach the climax of the first act, I would argue, or maybe like the inciting incident. You meet an important character, and there's not really much else in the area. Maybe the area is way, way bigger later on. But I haven't seen any gates or anything that would imply that. Maybe that, I could be wrong.
You wish there was more. It seems overly tight, but not tight enough or something.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay. Hell is us. I don't know if I'm more interested in it now, because I'm like, what is this fucking game doing? I've had like you said with the opening question at the start, you were kind of like, does anyone know what this game is? There is this weirdness around people talking about it. Like, even on social media, when I see people, I'm not quite sure what they're saying about this thing. Like, it doesn't fit into a box.
It's just a roller coaster ride. Like, every time you think, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm in these tight corridors fighting the same enemies over and over again. I went north because someone mentioned the word north in their dialogue, and nothing else really mattered to me narratively. I didn't have to piece anything together. But then you hit such a dark, sad observation about the way the world shifts when conflict takes place in it. And you're like, damn. That's amazing. I hope it does that one more time in the next 60 minutes, or I'm turning this off.
This game is like, I feel like I feel like I'm outside a restaurant. My friend's like, do you want to eat here? And I'm like, oh yeah, what kind of food is it? And I'm looking in, and there are things that look vaguely like foods that I recognize, but none of them are foods I recognize. Like, this game looks like it wouldn't be deep, but then it's like making deep commentary, and then I'm like, oh, but it's like Souls-like. But it looks kind of like French, and then the guy kind of looks like the Watch Dogs guy, and then there's like a Kojima guy.
I feel like this is what my parents see when they see a video game.
This is like in the background of like an episode of SVU or something.
Yeah.
It's
kids are getting high on Hell Is Us.
It just feels bizarre. Yeah,
I kind of want to play this now.
I think you guys should. See, this is why I wish there was a demo, because I don't think you could communicate what is fun about this without either spoiling what's fun about it or apparently sounding like you hate it more than any video game I ever have.
I know you sound conflicted about it, but that is making me interested in it.
Right. That's why. So that's my thing. Is it's not easy to recommend. It's not going to work for the vast majority of people. But the people for who it works and can acknowledge that it is limited in its ability to do the things that it's trying to do, that it's telling you it's doing. Like, it's telling you there's no direction, but like everything is very explicit. It's telling you there's no compass, but like, where else am I supposed to go? There's 2 places here, you know? It's like little things like that where I'm like, I get what you're trying to do, what you're saying you're doing, and what you're actually doing are not lining up on the screen, but I still like what you're doing. I just wish you would stop lying to me so much and telling me it's bigger than it is.
Hell is Us. It's been out for almost a month, it looks like. $50 on Steam. If you have experience with Hell with Us and would like to talk to somebody about it, podcast at noclip.video. Let us know.
We're running a support group for people with conflicted feelings.
You have any insight into it? Wild ass game. Let me get through a couple of mine real quick, because there's a bunch that I played, not loads of, but I think they're definitely worth recommending. The first is Mars First Logistics. This is a very special game. It came out on, I think it's just a couple of days ago. It is how best to explain this thing? So it is a game where you're predominantly, it's set on Mars. It has this very why am I blanking on the French graphic artist? Mobius ass looking art style to it. Essentially, you are building and piloting a bunch of, walkers, drones, little buggies that are meant to deliver items from one base to another on Mars. And the process of doing that involves not just driving to one base, grabbing something, and then bringing it to the next base, but upgrading your little what's the best way of calling it? Like, it's not quite a buggy. I guess a rover. Is that what
that's
we call
what
it?
I was looking for. Yeah.
Like upgrading your rover so that like, it needs to pick up a bucket. I better add like an arm to it that will do that. But you don't just buy the arm. You buy the little servo that's going to rotate the thing, and you put, it's almost like Lego, or you're building the thing out in between these missions. It looks gorgeous. The physics feel fantastic. It's very emergent in like the simulation of your rover once you are able to add different things to it, and then it even down to the point where you can choose which button on your keyboard does what. So you can add different servos and have them like work together or against each other, and then you can do weird and wacky ways to solve the actual physics problems that you have. Like, how many ways are there to pick up a bucket? Like, there are as many as there are imaginations in the world, right? And I think this game does a really great job of empowering players to come up with novel solutions. It does extend beyond that. The initial stuff. I'm quite bad at this game. I think I'm just not very good at these types of games, so I'm not very far in it at all. This has been, I believe, out in some sort of early access for a while now, but it just hit its 1.0. It's actually 40% off at the moment as well, which is pretty wild, until October 9th. So you should still be able to do it for a week after this goes up. And yeah, I think it's really special. It's a very, very well designed game. I want to spend more time with it. But it's something super cool.
Did you guys ever play or hear of a game called Star Wars Droid Works?
I know the name of it, but I didn't play it. Is it similar to that?
It's kind of the only thing this reminds me of. I'll post a picture in staff chat of what DroidWorks looks like. You build droids for specific missions. This picture is R2D2 with C-3PO's legs.
Fantastic.
But it's sexy R2D2. But it's sort of similar in that you'll have like a mission where it's like, you need a droid to like go up the stairs with a box, and you're like, well, R2D2 could never go up the stairs with a box, so let's give him arms and sexy legs. But it kind of reminds me of this. It's a game that I loved as a kid. It's like one of Lucas Entertainment's sort of like edutainment software.
That's very cool.
But it's kind of the only touch point I have for this, other than one of the bylines on the Steam page for Mars First mentions the Tears of the Kingdom, like building fucking connecting things to make like machines that have function. But it's cool. I mean, that's a very like complex sort of like untapped thing. Or there was like a is it Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts?
Ratchet and Clank nuts and balls, or Banjo-Kazooie. Sorry, nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
sorry.
Or Besiege, I think of as well for this.
Yes, Besiege is a great shout. Yeah, and I think we've seen the Mobius style graphics applied to lots of different games. I think it works incredibly well here because there's something really important about, I guess, color discipline. Like when you think about Legos, when you think about like looking at something that you're building and the amount of specific colors and how that helps you to sort of make sense of a complex design. I think this game, both with its colors and also with the sort of the harsh black stroke that you get when you do cell shading, I think really helps to simplify what would be a much more complex feeling game. I think. So in a way, I feel like the art style is actually like a very smart design choice on their part in making this game more feel less simmy maybe, and feel less like hardcore than maybe it is. Because I think it's encouraging me to have fun and test it out. And it does it in a number of ways. Like some of the missions you do are ridiculous, like transporting a toaster and the toast falls out of the toaster. And there's like, it definitely goes beyond just doing fun rover missions here and there. Like you can get real wacky with it. There's car racing. There's lots of like weird stuff in here. So, yeah, I feel like there's a universe of a game for me to experience in this, and I'm looking forward to doing it. But initial impressions are incredibly strong, and it's got all reviews at the moment are at 1,500 or so, and it's at overwhelmingly positive. So another interesting one. Shout out to Shape Shop, and apparently was somewhat published by Outer Sloth. They seem to be throwing in a few shekels with a lot of people. They're like not the main publisher, but like here you go, you look cool.
So for people who haven't heard of Outer Sloth, it's Inner Sloth who did Among Us have Outer Sloth, which is sort of like it's sort of a publisher, but it's more like funding and like milestone check-ins and sort of like insight, but it's sort of like a non-traditional publisher. But it's cool that they've done that. I mean, I imagine, I don't know how many dollars Among Us made, but it is cool that they have leveraged the immense success of Among Us into sort of helping other people get on their feet.
Speaking of helping other people get on their feet, let's talk about the latest slot machine nightmare, CloverPit. Have you guys seen this? Did you play the demo at all?
I played the demo.
Was this the one you were talking about before?
Jesse, you mentioned this game before, did you not?
I probably mentioned it. I did not play it. I played a game called Rack Coin, which was similar to this.
Thank you. Rack Coin, yes.
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit in the demo. It's a slot machine roguelike with a sort of very nice, low poly, pixelated, crunchy, sort of a PS1 adjacent aesthetic.
Yes, very well put. It's quite tricky. I like it a lot. I think it's for as much as you're doing slot machine stuff, it's done in a very self-aware, fun, dark kind of way. Essentially, I believe the setup of the game is that you are gambling away your debt or something, or you're trying to get your debt back. So you're locked in this room which has like the floor is a trap door, and if you don't make to the next level, the floor just opens and you die, and then you're a new person trying to do it again. And essentially what's happening is like you are given an amount that you have to raise on the slot machine. You have to pay for the slots, and then you also have like a little bank telling machine that you can put money into, and that'll earn interest as well. And you're basically like, they're like, all right, you got to earn 75 coins in the next 6 rounds. Good luck. And then there's a couple of different like mechanisms where they give you these little tickets that you can use to upgrade, get little modifiers essentially, like the jokers in Balatro or whatever, that will modify and increase your luck. Or like I have one that like gave me +7 luck on the last spin every time. And I was like, oh God, every time it went down to the last spin, whether or not I was going to survive or not. Once you level up, there's like a telephone that you answer that that you will give you sort of permanent upgrades. There's a toilet in the corner you can pee and poop in and get an achievement for. It's good fun.
Game of the year.
Absolutely. And it's funny because you're in this tiny little boxed room, but you actually have like WASD and mouse controls, even though you're just like turning to this machine. So yeah, I like the crunchiness. I like the aesthetic of it. I found it quite tricky. Again, could be another just game Danny's bad at. I think I haven't gotten to the 4th level yet in it, but yeah, it's interesting and neat, and I've found it novel. It's $10 game. There's a demo out. The demo's still available. You can check it out for yourself. CloverPit, and one of the things that actually it had in it was in the About Us section they had a link to a game that they had made before. Which Jesse, you are familiar with this one. This is the taxi. What's it
Yellow
called?
Taxi Goes Vroom. Very cool game. Yeah.
Like a what did you say on our meeting? Mario
Cario, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's like 3D platformer where you play as a taxi and you see a Mario looking character in a bunch of paintings throughout the levels. I think is he like the pizza or the mayor or something? I haven't played in a while, but it's a really good game. Like that is the sort of thing. I was thinking about CloverPit actually because I knew we were going to talk about it. It's like, I don't know if this is the trajectory or the future or anything. Maybe it's just a funny coincidence of the era of time that we're in. But I think people have almost like figured out if you make one of these, it's like when the movie like actors are like, oh, one for them, one for me. It's like,
right, yes,
this is the one for them. I'll make this and I'll make a bunch of money off a pretty straightforward, easy, fun project that people enjoy. And then I'll fund my cool thing, which I hope is Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom 2 and not CloverPit 2, because that's the game I want more of.
I can hear what you're saying because the design on Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom is really good.
Yeah.
But I never saw this game. It never came across it took an About Us section in a different game that did get shared around enough that it came across my plate for me to notice it. So I hear what you're saying where you're like, yeah, let's make one of these dark, crunchy games that has some gambling mechanics in it. And, and who's gonna say that, cast aspersions on anyone who spent all that time making a game like Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. And it seems like it did all right. It's got 1,200 or so overwhelmingly positive reviews, came out last year. So it's pretty, seems like it's done all right. But yeah, I do hear what you're saying. I think we're here at the Crew, especially, we're a little bit sensitive to these games, and there has been a bunch of them coming out recently, sort of gambling adjacent games. This one seems self-aware enough that I felt
But is that okay? Is that not having your cake and eating it too?
I think so. The fact that like the rounds in this are so short, like this is not a game like a lot of these games where like you are sitting there doing the gambling thing a lot. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have different feelings about this. It
has an endless mode though, doesn't it? Like once you get to the end of all the, I guess you haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure it says in the stream description or something that you can keep going at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. It's to me, it's like so clearly anti-gambling because the vanilla version of the slot machine is dog shit. Like you win nothing until you start to like buy these upgrades that like basically fix the luck on them. So
isn't that a little bit like the restaurants in Vegas where they're like, this is like the heart attack burger and it's like 6 billion calories and it's clearly a parody of American cuisine, but like people do die eating it. Like I feel a little bit like self-awareness does not absolve you of the thing that you're doing. And so I feel like here's the thing. I think this game is beautiful. Like I have so much respect for the craft of the people who made this game. I think it looks amazing. I think the sound design is good. Like I think there's so much craft that went into this game. The people who made it are clearly incredibly talented. I just think that I have a lack of respect for games that are like stacking the deck of sort of like pull the lever games. There's another game out right now that's very popular where you just flip a coin and you're stacking the odds.
That's
of like,
better than Hades 2. Have some respect.
Okay, Northern Lion. I don't know. I just like there's something about games where you're just like stacking the deck and watching the chips fall where they may, where it's like, I don't know. There's something that's just wrong with me about it. It feels like it's just a dopamine button and you're just manipulating the odds of the dopamine coming out.
I mean, so I don't know. Maybe I think we differ on this a lot. And like, we have different probably outputs. Like I come from a country where there had been traditionally pretty strict gambling laws. There's no casinos in Ireland, for instance. I mean, there's no casinos non-native land.
No
in
legal
America
casinos
either,
in Ireland.
No, what do you mean? Like illegal casinos?
Yeah. There's got to be a craps table somewhere.
Not like maybe people play poker somewhere, but like no, it's not really part of
All right.
the culture. There's horse racing and there's like Ladbrokes, going down to that's where people lose their money. And I worked at a dog track, right? So like I'm sensitive to that type of stuff. I think the thing that I feel is that like there's nothing these like aesthetically, yeah, they're like making it look like casino stuff, but like Bolitro is maybe the exception in that you can play that game for hundreds of hours. I don't know if like I'm playing shotgun roulette for like 20 hours. Like it's not affecting me monetarily. I'm not wasting my family's money on it. It's like a $8 game. And I'm only going to play it for like a certain amount of time. And what it's doing is like all games are doing some amount of RNG or fucking, I think Destiny is worse than these games because like that's the Skinner box stuff, right? Whereas like, and that's trying to like get you to sink hours into it and keep playing. And so I find it hard to critique these games for that,
I guess it's not the like gambling theming of them that just to me is a particularly laid bare version of a larger dark patterning trend in games that I have a distaste for. I think Destiny is also a great example of that, where it is like, or like just compare like Diablo 2 is sort of an interesting hinge point for this, where it's like I do not feel like Diablo 2 was a game designed around the dopamine that emerges from my brain when I do my 700th Andariel run and get like a fucking skull mace with whatever unique color text. It's like, but it became part of the experience where it's like that feels fucking good, but it doesn't feel like a game that is built around that. Whereas I feel like
Diablo to me is 100% like just hijacking people's minds. Like
more than CloverPit or the same amount as CloverPit.
Oh, I mean, how many hours could you put into either one of these games?
Right,
doing
but there's like build differences you can do. Like I agree that there's a lot of dopamine that goes into those games. I love action RPGs.
But wait, hold on. We cannot fucking monolith
you were making the
Diablo.
point.
No. But it's very important to me that I said Diablo 2 or 1 because I feel like Diablo 3 is the pivot point where it becomes like the fucking roll the dice and see what comes out of the slot machine thing. And I feel like that trend, like Diablo is like the radioactive dye that exposes the sort of like laid bareness of this trend in video games to me, where it was an element of Diablo 2 and it's part of the like I feel like Diablo 2 they struck like fucking lightning struck with that game because that was such a sticky part, but I feel like they weren't making Diablo 2 going, oh yeah, and people are gonna fucking like it's gonna be so Moorish when people like roll the dice every time and the little things go like whoop, 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 and drop and you see them and they make the noises and stuff. I feel like Diablo 2 is a game that has like aesthetic strengths, it has like narrative strengths, it's just creating a world, it's curating like atmosphere, it's telling a story, it's doing all of these things, and inside of it are these sort of like sticky mechanics. But I feel like the polarity is reversed on a lot of these dark patterning games where the point of it is to push the lever and see what comes out. The point of it is these like incredibly short round based run based, let's go again, it's only 5 minutes. And I think that's what's insidious about them, is that it is not like CloverPit isn't like telling you a story. It's not curating an experience that's going to like make you think differently about anything, especially not about like gambling. And I feel like that's why it's kind of hollow as satire, is because if you're going to do satire, CloverPit should be a game that like makes the case somehow that like you shouldn't be playing CloverPit. And I don't think it's doing that. I don't think it's a game that's going to convince you that like these rapid dark patterning dopamine button games are bad in some way. That is the one dark pattern game that I would be like, fuck yeah, this game rules, is if it convinced me that I shouldn't be playing that type of game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when I watch Pulp Fiction, I don't require the movie to tell me that violence is bad. Like I don't always need it to align with my with my views on it's
not that though, because it's not the like, oh, Scorsese makes crime movies, he must like want you to do crime thing. That's not what I'm saying at all. I don't need media to reflect my values back to me, but I need them to have some sort of value beyond just being like a time sink. I think that Pulp Fiction has artistic merit and narrative merit. It tells like, it's very like
does
crass,
Diablo after 200 hours?
No, but I didn't play Diablo for like, I wasn't one of those people who got stuck in the loop of just getting loot forever. I've played through Diablo 2, 10 times or something like that, which is probably low on the end of number of times played by a Diablo 2 fanatic or whatever. But I think that Diablo 2 accomplishes things outside of the stickiness of that loop. You know what I'm saying?
It does, yeah, but it doesn't have to 200 hours. And there are people like, it's like, yeah, those games have,
Yeah, but you could say that. Can you say that about any? Like, you could say. Are you saying because it contains some level of RNG? Because couldn't you just say like you could play Mario 64 forever?
Yeah, I think what I'm getting at is that the things that are actually dangerous to people when it comes to like gambling is getting stuck in a side of a system that is giving you some sort of positive feedback for extended periods of time, or losing money. And I think these indie games, while maybe they don't aspire to something great like Balatro or CloverPit, I think mileage varies on this stuff, right? The one Jesse talked about a couple of weeks ago sounds like it was maybe less, like even less so than those games. They're not sucking people's time or money. I mean, Balatro is the one example of maybe it is, and that we talked about that a lot last year. And Jeremy, you made a very explicit decision to stop playing it at a certain point, and I fell out of interest with it after a long period of time. But yeah, I guess I just don't find. I think it's an overcorrection to like critique these games that hard. I think it can be not for you because of that, but like I don't know if they're damaging society if like ultimately they're these small games that are cheap that are like, I like a lot of what CloverPit does that is interesting artistically.
But think about it though, that you're covering this game like for a reason, right? Because it's aesthetically doing something interesting, because it's like a fun game that you enjoyed. But you brought up a game that I think is better. That's a personal opinion. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, that you heard about because it's in the About Us section. There's only so much coverage we can do for games, and we tend to have these conversations more and more about these kinds of games, dopamine rush games that are like fun and enjoyable, and obviously people like them enough because they're getting good reviews and people are talking about them. But there's only so much landscape. It's like we don't have enough time to talk about enough stuff, even just between the four of us on this podcast every week in Noclip 2. This is what we're talking about. Not a bad thing. It's a conversation of what we do with the time that we have, but if people are playing this for 8 hours and not playing something else that might set their heart on fire because this is fun and they enjoy it, isn't that our job to introduce people to more stuff?
I guess you can apply it to any game, though.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that there's a certain heat that these games get on these podcasts that I don't particularly necessarily align with you guys on.
Yeah, no, it's totally subjective. Yeah. I think the only point I'm really trying to make is that I feel like games to me, what I personally value about games is that they curate an experience that is on a spectrum from like cinema to toy. Games fall all over this spectrum, and they have inherent value for different reasons. There are very toy-like games like Katamari that I think curate these beautiful experiences of pure play in the way that like children play, in the way that children go outside and like find a stick and are like, we have swords now, and like that's a beautiful, inherently human thing that I think that those things do. I think that this particular like subgenre of like the coin pusher game and Balatro and CloverPit and the coin flipping game, these games of like somewhat pure RNG closed environment doing this like short feedback loop activity that is sort of like dopamine inducing. To me, it feels like it is entertainment that is sort of more like more transparently dark patterned in a way that I think is like, I'm not saying people are throwing their lives away over Cloverpit. This is not like a moral catastrophe, moral hazard argument about like, satanic panic. I just think that like, is this like a valuable experience to have? Other than, there is an argument to be made that like, whatever, time waster games. I think it's a very derogatory term, but sometimes you're exhausted. You just want something to fucking look at and push the button. I just wonder if like these experiences are, meaningful, fulfilling, satiating in some sort of way beyond just spending time looking at a thing, pushing a button and getting a little dopamine.
Yeah, I think you can, nothing you've said I don't think is an unfair critique. And I just think maybe people should also apply that to the games that make them feel good. Because like the easiest thing to do, and this is like how the difference I think between sort of hopefully people who are skilled reviewers and sort of everyday people when they're talking about things that they enjoy or don't enjoy, is that things that we inherently like, we find elegant reasons why that's the case, and things that we like, we find we can speak to why we like them, and things that we don't like, we come up with moral arguments for why we don't like them. And I think you can apply both of those things invertly as well. And I think, to me, games that are like clearly vibing off of casino shit, that's like a more honest way almost. Not every game can be Inscription, you know what I mean? Where it's a game that is doing a lot
it's
of
about
that
stacking the deck and cheating and using cards and ability.
It's I would like to push back only on one element of that, which is that I liked Balatro so much, and at some point I found that it was not like satisfying. Like I felt like I liked it and I liked the experience of playing it, but it was leaving me feeling worse. And so I guess what I'm unpacking is a sort of complex tangle of emotions of liking something and feeling that when I'm in the moment of playing it, I'm like, this is I'm enjoying this, but then afterwards feeling like empty, or like I had wasted time in a way that like I don't feel that when I play, like Dark Souls 2 or whatever.
Yeah, and I stopped playing Balatro before I felt that way. So
for sure.
Agree.
But I felt that way after like 15. I played like 15 hours of Balatro. It's not like I played hundreds and hundreds of hours. Or
Who would do that?
But sorry, Jesse.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to make the point that it's not like I play these games and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Let me reverse engineer like a philosophical take on this. It's more me exploring a sort of like negative psychological spiral that I think these sorts of games can create, even if you enjoy them. I'm not saying everyone will have that experience.
Perhaps there is space for you to be able to less generalize that feeling, because that's clearly something that you felt, but it might not be the case for a lot of people.
No, but I'm not speaking to, that's what I'm saying is like, this isn't a universal good or bad. I think there are probably people that have like a healthy relationship to MOBAs, but I think that like the fact that my relationship to MOBAs is one that tends towards being unhealthy. I think like I'm not the only person in the world who has had an experience with MOBAs or with Balatro or with competitive shooters where it's like you keep smoking the cigarettes even though you're not enjoying it. Like, I don't think I'm the only one. And so I may not be speaking to a universal experience, but I think I am speaking to an experience that, more people than just myself have at least resonated with some aspect of it.
Yeah, at least half the people here, if we're talking about the particular game as well. It's not going to be like winning Game of the Year awards for me or anything like that, but I've been enjoying it. It's been a fun sort of like late night diversion. Let me just get my other one out of the way, if that's all right, just to round off on stuff. I don't have too much to say about this one. It's called It Has My Face, which I think is the reason why I played it. It's because it has such a strong name. This, I want to say, is an early access game. It is, yeah. So there is a demo out for this as well. It is essentially a game where you are loaded into a world. You have like a small mirror that you can press tab and it'll show you what you look like. You look different every time the game loads, or every time a level loads, I should say. And you are filled in a space with lots of other people. And you have to find your clone who is trying to kill you before it kills you. You have to kill it before it kills you. You also have to find a weapon in the level. We're stored in these little suitcases. So you got to go up and press E, hold down E and then the weapon might be a baseball bat, might be a gun with one bullet in it. And it plays off this really interesting tension. It's like it's like those games you played. What was that game where you were a sniper and you were trying to like kill the person in the party?
Oh yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah. It's like one of those, except there's a sniper pointing at you as well. It feels like there's a tension of, I have to find them, but they'll also find me. Every once in a while, like there are different mechanics that emerge within this playful space. For instance, every once in a while, you might get like tense and suddenly everyone looks like you. for a little bit, and that sort of like it feels like it resets the map, where suddenly you're like, oh no, there's going to be like 6 seconds where everyone is me, and people will come up to you and ask you things like, hey, do you want to buy some booze I made at home? Like, it's set in this nondescript future dystopia. It's kind of hard to understand what's going on. But the tension feels so good. And when you kill your clone, sometimes you do it and you're like, oh, like I'm pretty sure I have a beard and a blue shirt, but I'm not sure if that's the hat my guy is wearing. And you take the shot and you hope that it's your guy. Yeah, it's a 3D first person shooter world, but all the baddies are like, or all the humans are like two sort of like pixely sprites they kind of look like. And yeah, there's all these different mechanics, like there's bear traps hidden, so sometimes you can get stuck for a while. And yeah, I really like it. It's a very interesting, weird little novel game. It's $9, I believe. It's in early access, so they're going to keep adding to it. But yeah, I wanted to mention it. I've really enjoyed playing around with it, and it creates a tension that I've not felt in a first-person shooter in a long time.
Were you playing against AI or against other people online?
AI. There is online stuff, right?
Yeah, it did say online PvP. I was just curious which one you were playing.
Yeah, I've just been playing against the computer, and it feels very spooky, and I don't think I could play against other people. That would freak me out.
That sounds really fucking scary.
How do you know you're not? The AI is just people this whole time.
That's a great... I mean, I like when games do that. Like, that to me is... I like when PUBG does that. I think that's silly when it has bots and it's not. Yeah, it's not. No, but it's not even telling you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes where like you're not quite sure. I think there can be a fun space in there.
When you're saying it has your face, is it your face or is it Old Dirty Bastard? Which one do they see? For people who don't know, Google Danny O'Dwyer and let me know what face you see when you Google his name.
Oh Lord. It's not just like it's like the clothes you're wearing, the shorts you wear, whatever, it's everything, right? And so like I'll be walking around going like black skin, blue beard, yellow shirt, and then I'll keep responding that in my head, and then I'm like, fuck, I need to go with yellow shirt first because that's the thing that's easiest to see.
This is what the cops do, by the way. This is the same.
Exactly.
They don't pick yellow shirt from that list.
And so it is a roguelite as well, I should say. Like every level you do, there's unlocks and stuff like that. But which I think fits with the format, which is these like pretty punchy levels. Like levels are over in a couple of minutes, because you're hopefully, sometimes you find them pretty quick, but a lot of the time, I had ones where I was in there, felt like forever. Like, well, where are they? This is freaking me out. So yeah, it has my face. Absolutely terrific name, and yeah, we've been really, really enjoying it. And I think that's all my stuff, so I'll shut up now. Somebody else told me about a game called Hole, which I've been playing, but I haven't played enough of it.
Playing with Hole?
Playing with Hole. Love to play with that Hole. Jeremy, you dove into Eclipsium last night. What is this?
I did. So Eclipsium is it's a game by a developer named Housefire, published by the magnanimous Critical Reflex. This is a first-person experience game. I have mixed feelings on this, but it is worth shouting out because I think it does some things really, really well. I'm going to finish it. It's a short game. I have not finished it. I think it's about 3 hours. I've played somewhere between 1 and 2, so maybe about half of the game. So this is I'm going to read the description because the game itself is so sort of like abstract and artsy that I feel like it's not like you wake up in this and then go outside, and it's just like a series of bizarre sort of art installations. So this is Eclipsium's Steam description. Longing for light, a sunless world begins devouring itself. Every step shifts the landscape beneath you as you search for what remains of her.
Okay.
So, the Spike Jonze movie, is that?
It's a sequel, yeah.
It's a little bit like those social media posts that have been going around where the grammar is nonsensical, where you're like your brain is trying to parse it, except this is grammatically correct. I can't it's not breaking through my brain. I don't understand anything more from reading that other than there's
more
a lady
questions
involved.
Than answers.
So Eclipsium is, you sort of like wake up and go through a series of these very dreamlike, just mostly linear sort of art installation corridor environments. Especially early on, the interaction is very, very light. Like there was nothing I would describe as even remotely sort of like puzzle like for at least 20 to 30 minutes in this game. It was a lot of just walking around and I'm looking around and I open and there's one thing to grab and there's one thing to use it on. Very lock and key design of stuff. And so I feel like the interactivity of this game was sort of losing me. But the thing that I really liked about it is that it has an incredibly like crunchy, pixelated, dithery, idiosyncratic look to it. This is not like PS1 inspired where it's like doing the vertex jitter and stuff. It's like taking the crunchiness that a lot of those games do and just like turning it up to 1,000 in a really interesting way. It looks like you're looking through like a gauze made of dither. And the sound design is also just like everything is like crunchy and like wet and visceral, and everything has noises corresponding to it. I think this is one of the best soundscapes that I've encountered in a game this year. Wow. I think there's an unbelievable amount of craft that went into this game, and so that's why I feel conflicted about it, is because you move incredibly slowly in this game, and I feel like that's like one of my like cardinal sins of game design is, you know, you're playing a AAA game and they're like, all right, now your character walks really slow because there's like something important happening. Yeah. And it's like the thing that's happening better be so fucking captivating if I'm forced to walk slow. And sometimes I feel like in this world, I'm just walking very, very slow, and I can, you know, I can tell what they're trying to do. They're trying to invite you to drink in the atmosphere and to like look around, and they're like, oh, what's that? That's like a weird goo tentacle. And what's that? Oh, I'm like in a weird hospital place. But I just found myself like wanting more to do. And to the extent that you'll get these sort of like transformations where like I'll just say the first one so you can get an idea of what they are, where your hand turns into weird shit basically. And so the first one is like your hand turns into like a weird mutant hand that can cut stuff. So you'll progress in sort of the one direction you can progress, and then there's one path and it's blocked by things, and you're like, oh, clearly I have to cut the things because it's the only thing I can do. But the level of interactivity is sufficiently restrained that if you pull out the knife hand and you're not at a knife hand place, you're not like spamming knife hand. And again, right, yeah. Again, the design intention here is clear, and I think it's a correct, intuitive decision on their part that they don't want you going around spamming knife hand to see if you can cut things, because that's not the point of this game. But it did feel like I was brushing up against the like restraints on interactivity in this game a little too much. I wanted to be able to have a little more play in this world.
Do you know what it reminds me of a little bit is that there is these in virtual reality with the VR headset stuff, and I've had my daughter sort of enjoy a few of these over the whiles. There's like almost like interactive. They're not even interactive. They're just like VR movies essentially, like animations and stuff that are like really cool and look great and sound great. But you're basically like not really doing anything, which is fine. But it sounds like it's like you're almost doing too much, because it's like sort of early walking simulator style, walk around and see the world and reach the gate that then gets you to the next area. But that's kind of it. Like it's like almost it's so uninteractive that it's making you frustrated.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like a museum or an art installation is what I would compare this to. And I think if you set the expectation at that, and that sounds like something you would enjoy, I think there's like incredible, surreal, like Dali-esque sort of like, this is like PS1 Salvador Dali. I think that there's like,
looks incredible.
It's one of the best looking games I've played this game far and away.
This is like maybe a weird way to explain this, but what it looks like to me, because like the hand looks like it's a real hand.
Yes,
like it's like a dithered, like sort of 15 frames a second kind of looking hand. It almost looks like the technology used for the characters in Mortal Kombat 2 is being used for everything. You know what I mean?
Totally. There's a lot of like photo and video hyper compressed and dithered and used as like sprites or sort of like a heavily processed FMV kind of cutscene kind of things going on.
Yes.
So FMV there was a part of this that felt like I was playing a Bizarro Universe kind of like Myst almost.
Yeah, right.
But I wished that in terms of structure, the game was more like that, where it was sort of like pockets with puzzles in them, and I was sort of this game has the atmosphere to pull it off. I think I would have spent a longer amount of time in a sort of less linear pocket and poked around with weird obtuse puzzles, but instead for most of the experience it was more like I have this hammer and there's this one nail over here and there's kind of nothing else to do in the room except look around. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to finish it. I think it's compelling, and I think it's short enough that, it's not like a 20-hour museum game. It's like a 3 hour game. So yeah, I think it's worth checking out if the idea of like an interactive, very lightly interactive, surreal art installation appeals to you. It's cool in that regard. I just, I'm not sure if it's like completely clicking with me.
Yeah. Damn. Let's use it on us then. Jesse, does this look like something that you'd be interested in playing?
I mean, it did until Jeremy described it.
No.
I really like the screenshot. See, the thing that I like about that sort of thing, because you said museum and I got excited again. I do like the idea of a place that you just observe. Like you don't do anything in really. You kind of just have to see it. Like Hell Is Us. I think that's part of what I liked about that game is the world presents you with these bits of character writing and moments and like bits of the story that are told through just visuals, but then I'm not really doing anything. So like what about that is appealing? Is it not like there's nothing going on here, you're saying interactively that's appealing, but the stuff that you see is appealing?
So like, let me give a very early example of like a level of interaction beyond that puzzle. You walk into a room and there's sort of like weird tentacle goo everywhere, and there are these spotlights. When you turn the spotlights, it chases away the goo, and so you're turning the spotlights towards the next spotlight, so you can walk to the next spotlight to turn the next spotlight. You're creating a path by shining the light on the goo.
Okay.
But this is not a. If you set that in an environment where it was like there are other puzzles to solve or something, this would be sort of the like, oh, I'm in the goo area and I need to like figure out where I have the blue key, or I have like a marble and then I need to like, where does the marble go? But it's removed from that sort of like extra meta layer, and so the only kind of thing you're doing is like turning the lights to clear the goo so you can walk.
Would you prefer this to have been, because this is it's a cheap enough game, right? It's like $12 or something.
Yeah,
13 I think it is current. With a bit of a sale at the moment, it's down under 12. Would you prefer this to be like a $30 game that was like The Witness or something that was like bigger first person thing with this art style, but was doing a bit more with its interactivity?
Yeah, I wanted to like. I definitely resonate enough with the aesthetic and the sort of like type of tonal atmosphere that this world is curating that I would want to spend like a long time in a game world like this that played out something like Myst, that was like pockets of sort of like very obtuse puzzle solving. I think this game has the chops to pull that off. And who am I to fucking dictate? This game has its own intention and it's doing the thing that it's trying to do very well. I just wanted to have a little bit more to do in this world, and instead it feels like I'm sort of going through this like mostly linear, art installation of dreamlike imagery.
Let me then sort of, because I'm in a similar spot to Jesse. I'm not sure. Like I feel like this is a game I just need to get baked and just sit down and play. So
there was a Steam review. After I played like an hour or two of this, I was like, I wonder if like people are liking this game, because I find that I have a very high tolerance for games that are sort of like challenging or weird. And so I went to the Steam reviews, and one of the negative, I think it was a negative review. Now I'm doubting. It might have been an ambiguous review. I wish there was like a symbol for that on Steam, but it was whatever edible dose you're considering, double it was the review. Okay, right. And so I think that would also be my advice for this game.
Right. Well, I have a similar game that I wanted to that I wasn't going to talk about. Actually, I forgot to talk about it because I wasn't even sure what I could talk about it. But it feels very similar to the experience you've had with this, which is Blippo.
Oh yeah.
So this is like this. God, it's basically a game. Is it a game? I don't think it's a game. It's a piece of software that's sold on Steam. So I guess technically it's in the game section if it's not in with the software stuff. It's an experience that is basically like you have tuned into the cable satellite of an alien planet, and it's like very human looking aliens, but like it's very, late 80s, early 90s, cable TV silliness that's going on. And you basically just flick through the channels. And I played this for I don't know how long, played it. I went through it for an hour, watched everything, I think. And I was waiting for something to happen, or there to be a thing that I could do, or I noticed something and there's something else going on here. And I was really doubting myself. I was am I just not picking up on what this thing is doing? It was just an expectation thing, I think. But I don't think it does. I think I've read Steam reviews now a couple of days later, and people are yeah, it's just a weird interactive cable box that you can flick through these channels. And I don't know I'm like the Middle Ages kid seeing a jet fighter for the first time. My peon old reviewer brain of video games cannot seem to wrap my head around what I meant to be doing to critique this thing or praise it in some way. So yeah, I didn't really want to even bring it up, but it's a similar thing where I really like what it's doing, but I need there to be some type of back and forth between me and it.
I think part of it's lost in translation as well, is because Blippo Plus came out on the what's the Panic device called? The Playdate?
Playdate?
Yeah, the little yellow toy.
That's crazy.
Right?
So
this is a full color. Yeah, the Playdate, for people who don't know, a little crank handheld device. Yeah, literally it has a crank on the side of it that you crank. It also has regular buttons that you can play really interesting, great little indie games on. Yeah, it's a fantastic cool device. And Blippo Plus launched on that. Is Blippo Plus published by Panic, the company that does?
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I think this was a really interesting experiment for that device, because they did drops every week or so, so you didn't just watch everything in one go. You had to come back to it and see a new channel or a new thing, or watch, the mountain hiking guy. What's he going to do this week? That was, I think, part of what made the experience interesting. Where here it's sort of just TV that you flip through, which
that's funny.
I do think is an interesting idea. I think immortality has sort of spoiled us. It created an environment where you can't just do that anymore. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. There's no shoes. So it's it's an interesting thing, and it would have been really cool to play it from launch until all the content came out on Playdate, but I didn't do that. So I'm playing this version of it, and it's like reading a Japanese novel translated to English but not localized to English, and you miss all of the references.
Yeah,
and bits.
I look, even looking at, because I have a Playdate, but I just didn't update the season 2 stuff yet. I've been, I don't know, just dilly-dallying on that. So a lot of this seems like it's in that. And it looks, because it's it's black and white then on the Playdate, and because it's you're tuning into this weird channel with your weird crank thing, I can totally see how it makes more sense in that format. Yeah, so you've totally cleared up what I think that thing is now, and it is a weird fit for Steam. It is because a lot of that doesn't communicate. Man, video games are weird now.
They're cool. You can do weird things with them, like make TV.
Yeah. Exactly.
And gamble. You can, who cares? Gambling games.
You can gamble. And then there's different gambling games. There's gambling games that don't have gambling and are really bad, do have gambling and are not so bad, or do have gambling and are bad.
Okay, stop talking shit on gacha games, all right? I like to collect the JPEGs.
What if this was when I reveal that the reason I don't like pseudo gambling games is because they're not gambling enough?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If
I
CloverPit had a $5 button on it, it would be a much better game.
Yeah, if the Playdate 2 has a little ashtray on the side and it has a slot where you can put dollar bills into it, and then it has another slot where coins come out, then that's what I need.
A guy comes around to your house every week and unlatches the back of the Playdate and gets all the
you need a maintenance guy to come fucking empty out the coins.
Your Playdate, that's great. I love it, yeah. Can I use my Steam wallet funds or Steam... What's that currency they have for
Steam
buying
wallet,
avatars? Is that what it is?
Like points.
Oh, yeah, the points.
I didn't know about that thing. I looked at that for the first time last week.
You must
have
have
a 250,000
I have
points.
so many points.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, where do I even go on this? Daniel, where do I go? Store, points shop. How many points do I have in this
I think if you bought the
account?
Steam Index, you got or Valve Index or whatever, you got 100,000 points or something when they launched it.
Oh, really? For
Something
that
like
as
that.
well?
Yeah.
What do I have? I'm trying to go through here. I need to know now. I need you all. Oh, I have it here. Can you guys look up yours?
Sure.
Because I want to see if this is crazy or not.
Where do you see it again?
Go to Steam, go to store, and then points shop.
Okay.
And then your balance is on the leftmost column.
Oh, yeah, I got a bunch. Although I do, you know what they're good for is when you see a Steam review and someone's like, you see a game that you love and the Steam review is like, game sucks, game is boring, this game sucks. You give them the fucking clown award.
You give them the Reddit award.
You can do, that's where you get those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is you buy them. Oh my God, I'm going to go on a tear with that. That's great.
Okay,
Okay,
have so many downvotes.
Or did you?
Yeah.
You got yours, Jeremy. What do you got?
266,804.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Okay.
What do you have,
That's
Danny?
good.
You said fair.
I
Like
have
that's nothing.
704,000.
Wow,
That's a lot.
I have 480.
So it's a lot, but
so I'm
it's
in the
not like, it's not orders of magnitude more than Jeremy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like disgustingly more. That seems fair. Jesse, I feel like you have a pretty fat Steam account. What's how many do you have?
I've got 480,000.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then Frank, I feel like yours are all in Xbox points.
Yeah, I have 389,000.
Oh, okay.
Damn,
All right.
Jeremy, are you even a gamer?
He's just been clowning on too many Steam reviews.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
You joke, but I do give the Jester award a lot. Also, you can give profile awards to your friends. Definitely have done, give the brain award to my friends when they do something dumb.
Nice.
Like check your profile. Yeah, I use my Steam points. I'm in the marketplace.
All right.
You guys are fucking hoarding, and I'm recirculating the currency.
And things do cost like 1,000, 2,000, 6,000. So they're not. It's not like we have like generational wealth of Steam points.
I'm going to pass mine down to my kids, all right?
Okay.
There
wasn't there a lawsuit where someone's dad died and the kid was trying to see if they could get access to the Steam account and it wasn't transferable or something?
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
They sell backgrounds for your Steam profile, but unfortunately, my friend Carl, Sidburn19, gave me, like maybe 10 years ago, gifted me the best possible Steam background, which is, it sort of looks like cool 3D world style 3D models of a bunch of leprechauns like holding potatoes and stuff like that. Go. So I can't ever change that. So never going to get to do that. That's that dream dead. There goes that dream. Okay, what else we got on here? Do you want to talk about Goodnight Universe briefly, Jesse?
Yeah, I can quickly hit that. Goodnight Universe, this is the latest game from some of the team that worked on Before Your Eyes, which if you haven't played is a really cool first-person story game. It's like 2, maybe 3 hours long that you control or can control, should control in my opinion, with your webcam or camera. I think it's on mobile as well if you want to play it on your iPad or iPhone or whatever phone you've got.
Wasn't that something I was trying to think about like a couple of weeks ago? Was there any game that controlled your webcam?
I think I brought this up. I think I brought Before Your Eyes up when we were talking about that. But really great game. I think it's one of the most affecting video games I've played in a very long time. It was one of the first games I put up for Game of the Year, actually, since joining the team, which was cool. Yeah, me and Jeremy both had the same list that year, which is a little awkward because we didn't talk, and that was how we became
best friends.
And then we're besties. But this game, Goodnight Universe, I've been excited for this since it got announced. It takes that idea. I thought that was like a magic trick you could do once, where the player blinks, interacts with the game with their eyes, and that is the one thing that you do in Before Your Eyes. How can you do that again and have it feel as special? So I got to play the demo for this. The demo's available now on Steam. It should be anyway, when this podcast goes live. The email they sent says it's going to be live October 2nd. It shouldn't be October 2nd when you're listening to this. So, but it's 30 minutes long. I really recommend checking it out. They have taken that idea and they have built on it just in that 30 minutes in ways that perhaps for particular reasons to me, or just because I have a heart in my chest, really affected me and like made me feel things that I was not ready for. And on a technical level, it's doing stuff just with the camera that is great. That would make Don Matrick or whoever from Xbox really excited 14 years ago. Wow, it's like a Kinect with no Kinect. It is a really interesting video game where you're playing as a baby who has powers. That's it.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all I'll say. Play it. It's 30 minutes long. I think if it launches this year, it will absolutely, just on the first 30 minutes, be one of my favorite games of the year. If it's not, it will be probably one of the best games I've ever played. I think just that 30 minutes is up there with Before Your Eyes, a game I think every single person should play. Such a cool, you gotta play it. And the calibration, just as a point before you hop into it, the calibration that you do at the start is a little finicky. Just trust it. If it feels okay, if it feels like you have to blink kind of hard to get it to trigger, That's okay. Let that be the case. You want that when you're playing. You don't want it to activate accidentally. So just trust the calibration, trust that it worked, trust your camera.
October 2nd, it's out. We should also mention that this is part of Steam Next Fest as well. So there is going to be a bunch of stuff dropping, and we will have a bunch of stuff to talk about on the podcast next week as well, I'm sure. Frank, have you played enough of Silent Hill F to talk about it? Do you want to give us a little bit of a heads up?
I've played a lot about it. I would love to talk about it. So Silent Hill F is the new game that Konami published, but this is a different team. This is it's very fascinating. So the studio that made it is a team that worked on like all the Devil May Cry and Resident Evil like collections and a bunch of other games. And they have the team is called
Neobards.
Neobards Entertainment. They're based in Hong Kong. They have studios in Taiwan and all over. But they hired Ryukyushi07, who is like a visual novel writer who's done a bunch of old school Japanese like fucked up like horror dating sims, weird visual novel stuff.
Cool.
So the unique thing with Silent Hill F, this is the first like new Silent Hill we've had in a long time. Post Silent Hill 1 through 4, we've had Silent Hill Homecoming, which you're like an army veteran who's come back to the town of Silent Hill. Downpour, which is like I beat that game, but I hated it. But like 1 through 4, like the original, I like this game even more than Silent Hill 4. It's not on the tier yet of 1 through 3. I think those are like will never be matched. But playing through Silent Hill 2 remake last year, I liked it, but I wasn't impressed by it because like, oh, this is just a remake. They did it. Awesome, cool. This is a brand new game. And yeah, what makes this game unique is this is the first Silent Hill. It's not in the Midwest America. Instead, it's in Japan in 1960s. Very cool. You're in a mountain village, and so even just that setting is like.
Is it foggy? Is it foggy, Frank, in the mountain village? Yay!
Yeah, it's foggy.
Is that what F stands for? Is F for fog?
F. It's so playing it, I'm already stoked just to be in Japan. I'm here. I am again back 1960s. There's so many like cute specifics. It's just like of the culture. You go to like the local general store, the candy shop, and things like that. So it's like, oh, this is like I'm generally learning about 1960s Japan, let alone all the like fucked up stuff that's happening. Yeah, the story stuff they set up, I'm like generally engaged with. It's really fascinating. You're a girl and her schoolmates are what's going on in this town? We have to fucking get out. But like Euphoria, there's drama and it's generally
all your favorite things have been rolled into one.
So
the F really is for Frank.
Yeah, again, this is all like.
Do the kids wrestle at all in this game?
You know, there's a lot of violence, trauma, and like even playing further, there's scenes that are happening. Like, oh, this is fucked up. This is awesome. This is
nice.
So like I'm really digging it. But yeah, you'll find notes and it's just petty high school bullshit, and it's like, oh, this is good. And then fucked up stuff about the histories of the town. There is combat in this game. It's all like melee stuff. There's like weapon durability, but it's so funny. When you start the game, you can play on story mode or hard. What I think that really is easy mode and normal. When you beat the game, you get harder difficulties. But I'm just playing on story, both same thing with all the Silent Hills. There's a combat difficulty and puzzle difficulty. I'm just doing easy for both. And it's linear enough to where I'm not getting too lost or too frustrated. There's definitely parts where you're trying to figure out doors and switches and shit, and then there's monsters chasing, and that's the survival horror stress. But overall, it's like I'm getting through the game without having to resort to too many guides or anything like that.
Okay.
Same thing. If you die, at least on story mode, checkpoints are pretty favorable. There's enough save points. I've had the game crash on me once on PS5, and I was so thankful I had saved just 2 minutes before.
How do you save?
So you go to like little prayer shrines, and this is kind of cool. I think it's the first time this game has done this, but there is like a little bit of like Resident Evil 4 influence in here. Is you can go to the shrine and you can trade your health items for like I forget what they call it. It's not prayer points, but something like that. But like you can use those to literally like upgrade your character
content
or get,
boxes.
To upgrade your character or get like equipable like talismans that will affect more stamina, more health, things like that. So there is a little bit of like. Oh, okay. Like what strategy do I want to do for this? And there's different environments with different, things like that. So, so I'm generally impressed by it. Again, the monster designs are so gross and awesome, and like Silent Hill 2 has the nurses are iconic. Here, all the marketing they've been using are these like scarecrow schoolgirls, and it's just the way they move and interact is like so creepy and great. And the camera's like tied third person over the shoulder. when you're not engaged in combat, no UI. So it's just you in the town or wherever you are. So it's just really pretty engaging to go through. And it's I'm so happy it's good because everyone was holding their breath like, oh my God, what is this going to be? And so I'm digging it. Silent Hill F so far is awesome.
I have a question, and I just want you to shoot from the hip. Just you don't have to justify your feelings on this. Just in your guts, what do you feel? On if there's a line, and on one end is Silent Hill 2, and on the other end is the Silent Hill 2 remake. Not in terms of like camera or mechanics or perspective or anything. What do you feel like this is closer to?
Well, I think this is my answer. It's because it's a unique story. It's like Silent Hill 2 original because it's not just a remake of it or anything. Yeah. Like Silent Hill 2 did have a lot of like. I feel like there's a lot of gun combat. Here it's melee, so you're up close. So it's way more just vicious and stressful. Where I feel like Silent Hill 2, you could run away, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot. Here it's like, oh God, there's a lot of things where the quarters are tight. You have to get through and slip by. The game also like, I feel like does a really good job of like, just run. You don't need to kill every enemy. So but there's like that constant resource management. Like, oh my God, what do I do? So I am digging it. I don't know if it'll. Again, I'm eager to see how the story pays off and stuff, but I really like it. Like again, Silent Hill 2 remake I liked, but it wasn't impressive just because it was a remake. Whereas this is like, oh, this is all new stuff. This is so cool, and it's very unique because of the setting.
How the Silent Hill games, I've not played loads of them. Right, we talked about that when I was playing the remake of 2, but like it seemed to be that those and like the Resident Evil games, obviously I have way more experience with. I mean, they're linear in that like there is a start, middle, and end, but the areas that you're in, you're sort of exploring a bit and you're backtracking and you're doing a lot of that stuff. Is that how this plays out, or is this more like linear, like you're in one area, then you're in the next level, then you're in the next?
It pushes you forward, like, and there'll be things like not weird to say point of no returns. It'll give you a heads up. But you're like, open a door. Here's a cutscene, and all right, we're in the next zone of the game, and you're not backtracking to the very beginning. So it's just like. Do
those areas feel like you're exploring them when you're in them?
Yeah. So it's like you can check your map constantly, and like anything, like kind of like Silent Hill. Oh no, and the road is blocked, stuff like that. But here's a little health pickup. Here's a note. Here's environmental storytelling. So I do the thing if I can sense this is like there's gonna be a boss fight or something coming up. I will literally go down every crevice, and the game has like the fog of war on the map. Where you get to the end, here's the X, or it lets you know here's a door you haven't opened up yet. Standard survival horror, but it's like this is good. This is super helpful. And I feel like a lot of in the previous Silent Hill games, they'll kind of hide the map until you're further on. So far, I feel like I've gotten the map early enough, so it's like you feel safe going through stuff. And then at easy mode, they give you so many items and stuff, so I've gotten way more confident at like, I can get rid of some items to upgrade my stats. Again, there's weapon durability. You'll get like toolkits to repair weapons. There's like light, like you get a knife that's quick, a sledgehammer you can block with. So it's like, there's different strats if you want to do it. So
wait, sorry, the combat, because Silent Hill 2, I remember doing the melee combat and being like, this sucks. Why would they put this in? Just don't have me hit things. I get why it's there, but it's not fun. And that's the point of it. But like, is the combat fun in this?
It's cool. So as you get better weapons, it gets way more fun. But like, so there's a thing where it's got a unique system. There's like 3 meters. One is your health. This is what I think is funny and goofy. There's a sanity meter, like Eternal Darkness.
All right.
And so it's like, okay. And then there's weapon durability. And so what it does is like, as you approach an enemy, they call it like the focus meter. I think it's you hold L2 and you start charging up for like a strong attack.
Right.
And if you get hit, you lose your focus. Or as you're charging up, there'll be a small, like the character will, like a little like parry window essentially. And the enemy will do something. And if you hit R2, you'll basically counterattack them. So, and you can spam dodge like Dark Souls. You have a stamina bar. But it's like, okay. Again, all melee focus. But again, it's the thing of you fight them or just try to slip past them. But in a lot of these areas, you're going back and forth and things like that. So you have to make the choice. Like, do I, again, like kind of like Resident Evil 1 in the mansion, do I want to kill this zombie in this corridor, or am I never coming back in this room? Is it okay to save your ammo and stuff?
What happens if you lose sanity?
So if you lose sanity, you take more damage. I think your character will kind of like, oh no, like, and you'll just start seeing more.
Whoa.
Yeah. You'll see more of like this effect on the ground and stuff. But it's nasty. Like there'll be an enemy that'll come up and just lick your face, and it's like, oh, that's so gross. Like
that rules.
Yeah, it's it's pretty fun. I think they were very conscious. Like they're like, oh, we wanted to make traditional J horror, and yeah, it feels like a PS2 game, not in the jank way, but just in terms of like people compare this to Siren, like Rule of Rose. It's very Rule of Rose. It's very Rule of Rose.
Right.
Because that was like that game was frustrating, but that was like melee and just weird shit. So I really So this is and Rule of Rose is also School Rules and stuff like that. And
hey, have you ever played Rumble Roses?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say that's like a Frank Cowley special there.
That's the PS2 Joshi fighting game, and there's unique storyline. Every character has a unique story. But yeah.
Hell yeah, nice one. All right, Silent Hill F. Thanks very much, Frank. A bunch of games this week. Baby Steps, CloverPit, It Has My Face, Mars First Logistics, Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, Silent Hill F, Crime Boss, Rockay City, Eclipsium, Hell Is Us, and Goodnight Universe. An absolute murderer's row of games. You can check out and play yourself, and we'll probably have some videos of some of them up in the next couple of weeks too, over on Noclip 2 or maybe on Noclip 2's Patreon. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. I definitely feel like Silent Hill F as we enter spooky season, Frank, could be worth a little bit of time there. We got a couple of emails, it looks like, too.
Yeah, if you want to write to us, you can send an email to podcast@noclip.video or in our Discord for Patreon members in the podcast chat channel. We have 2 emails. Benny wrote in and asked, favorite handheld port? Hey all, one of the wonderfully weird parts of the 90s and 2000s gaming was that multi-platform releasing a game basically meant making multiple games at once. Due to enormous differences between home consoles and handheld hardware, I'm currently being blown away by how weirdly addictive Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is for the Game Boy Advance, despite its super low specs compared to the home consoles. Do you guys have any handheld/weaker hardware versions of major releases that turned out to be incredibly fun in their own unique way?
This kind of counts, kind of doesn't count, but Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars.
Oh man,
because that wasn't like a they didn't release it on anything else, right? But it was a GTA for the DS, and that game was absolutely outstanding.
It's like so much like GTA 1, right?
Yeah, but it did a lot of stuff with the touchscreen and the crunchiness of the graphics was like they were like chunky, I'll say, actually, like they filled the screen up, and the audio design was great, and yeah, it had the top down sort of feel of GTA 1 and 2, but it was 3D. It was, I don't even know, it was almost like Jet Set Radio. The graphics were kind of like very
like cell shady.
Yeah, cell shady. Yeah. That game was really cool. That was like a very good when people buy a DS, I was working at GameStop at the time. It was very easy to recommend them a Grand Theft Auto game, but for it to be not just some knockoff Grand Theft Auto game, an actual like very unique to the DS experience that was cool, was a massive boon. It was really easy to recommend it to people.
Yeah, I always wanted to play that one. That was cool. The Wii version of not Modern Warfare, Resident Evil 4. Which is like not a handheld version, but it's the only one I can think of that's like a downgrade of something, but also an upgrade. I think that's the best way to play that game, personally, is the Wii version of Resident Evil 4.
Is it first? Is it first?
No, it's still third person, but you use the Wiimote to control the pointer.
Yeah. We all just did the same.
So everyone knows what
like
a
a TV remote at the webcam.
The Wii is the best console next to the Nintendo DS, because it's like,
that's what people wanted Red Steel to be, was Resi 4.
That's what Red Steel 2 was. Reggie brought out the Wii Motion Plus and was like, we finally did it, folks. Ubisoft made the ultimate video game, and they didn't.
Zombie U.
Yeah, that's the Wii U.
Remember they released that as that's the opposite, was when they brought the zombie game off the Wii U. Do you remember that?
And it was less fun all of a sudden.
It was like, why the one thing that made this novel, the like weird little screen with your inventory on it and cameras and stuff, we're taking that away. Is this just a bad first person game now? Is that what we're releasing?
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently so.
I similarly have a game that was made not as a port to a different console that was developed in parallel, but sort of a alternate, extension of a universe. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is one of the best Final Fantasy games ever. I prefer it to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Really?
And I there's something about it that
I like the gameplay more than FFT.
Yeah, I think it's more fun to play, and there's something about it that is very Tactics is very sort of like you're on this like adventure, and it's very narrative, and there is like a map that you navigate, but it's sort of more of like an overworld. Whereas Tactics Advance is you build a party of adventurers. I don't know, like a combat party, and you are basically like freelance mercenaries, and you're taking contracts and going out into the world. And on the world, it's sort of like it's almost like a board game board where there's like little like chess pieces of bands of mercenaries moving around and stuff. And if you touch them, you get into combat. But it's very cool the way that you can just like pick and choose which missions you take on and then reinvest the funds you get into your party. It almost reminds me more of something like Mountain Blade Warband or something. There's something very it's like a sandbox tactics RPG.
Are you going to play Evilist Chronicles? Do you care at all about the remake they're doing of Final Fantasy Tactics?
No, I do think it looks really good. It's one of the few remakes where I've seen it and been like, holy shit, they did like this weird like magazine stippling look to it where it like softens the pixel art but adds texture and granularity with this like magazine stippling. I think it looks great. I just, I don't know.
You want to pay $67 or whatever it is in American to play the same game, but it's okay. It has the Final Fantasy 16 lore thing you can do where you can take the slider back and check the history.
I'm just not a remake guy. I just feel like I would rather just play the real game.
That's fair.
I'm trying to think of PSP ones. But the PSP is tricky though, because a lot of them were straight, well, not straight ports, but like, the GTA games came out on them. They were strong, I think, on PSP. I guess Metal Gear Acid is kind of like I was
just about to say that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, is there any other? Yeah, there was a bunch of like good racing games. There was a good Street Fighter 3. I think it was Alpha was on PSP. Midnight Club was good on PSP as well. There was a decent Need for Speed on there too. Yeah, a lot of games look really good on that screen just because it was like so compressed and small.
Yeah.
Good question.
My the all-time my favorite mobile port or whatever handheld port is Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Is like an improved version of the game because you can skip the door loading animations. So that became the Resident Evil to like speed run. So yeah, it's
funny.
It's Resident Evil, and I think the bottom screen you can see your map. So it's like it is the optimal way to play Resident Evil 1 because like there's no load times. You press start, you skip the door loading animations. The map is always there. Your inventory, your health status, all the stats are down there. It's incredible. The one weird thing is like they have a knife mini game, so sometimes they'll open doors, and I think it's like there'll be spiders on the screen, or like and you just have to like wiggle your finger to hack them. But I think at any time during the game, like you can have your gun out, and I think you can just swipe the screen to do a knife attack. So it's like as opposed to having to re-equip the knife. So it really became like the speedrunners Resident Evil. So yeah, that Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Which
I just found a list of all the games that took advantage of the D and the S.
Yes, that's what was, yeah.
Yeah, because I knew you're going to go there. So shout out to the Red Pages podcast who did this back in 2015. Wow. So I want you all to let me know what your favorite one of these is. So for people who don't know, when the Nintendo DS came out, a lot of studios did DS versions of their games, and what they would do is give the game a subtitle with D and S being the italicism of that title. So let's go through these. I'm going to read through them all, and at the end you all have to remember which one was the one that you liked the most, okay? In alphabetical order. Advance Wars Dual Strike, Betty Bop's Double Shift, Bleach Dark Souls, would you believe? Bokuro no Taio DS Django and Sabata, Bubble Bobble Double Shot, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Dig Dug Digging Strike, Dora Base Dramatic Stadium, Double Sequence The Q Virus Invasion, Full Metal Alchemist Dual Sympathy, Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash. That's my favorite, is the colon subtitle one. I think that's so silly. Guilty Gear Dual Strikers, Mage Knight Destiny's Soldier, Mr. Driller Drill Spirits, Lunar, Dragon Song, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, Peggle Dual Shot, Resident Evil Deadly Silence, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 1 and 2, Soro no Otoshimono Forte, Dreamy Season.
Oh, but Ghost of Yote is too hard to say.
Yotoi? Super Black Bass Dynamic Shot. Is that a fishing game or a music game? Tenchu Dark Secret, or oh Jesus, this is Okay, this is my boss fight. Zetai Zetsumi Dangerous Jisan DS : Dangerous Sensation.
You nailed it.
Damn.
Would you believe? There are a couple of honorable mentions too, I should say. Commando Steel Disaster, Dora the Explorer, Dora Saves the Mermaids, The Dark Spire. These are kind of like not really doing it. Like they might be DS by accident, actually. Postman Pat's Special Delivery Service.
All right.
Maybe not. All right, what do we got for favorites, folks?
I got two that stood out to me. Bubble Bobble Double Shot is my favorite drink at Starbucks. And then
The alliteration on that is very satisfying, isn't it?
Bubble Bobble Double Shot, yeah.
Or the assonance or whatever. Yeah.
It's very bouncy. And then there was a bunch of Japanese sounds, and then Dangerous Sensation.
Yes.
Sounds like
Sounds sexy,
it sounds like a special subtype of condom that, they like a
Yeah, the Magnum
Like
Dangerous
this feels-
Sensation.
so good
dangerous
for her pleasure.
that
Yeah.
it might actually
It's,
work.
it's like, they make extra thin condoms. This one is so
one
thin
hurts
that
thin.
they're like, it might break. We can't guarantee it won't break. It's a dangerously
We didn't
thin.
call it Safe Sensation.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Bleach Dark Souls for two reasons. I love Bleach, and Dark Souls is cool.
I didn't know they did a crossover.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Bleach Dark Souls. Frank, I'm guessing yours is Deadly Silence, is it?
Yeah, I generally like that one. Dark Secret is good. I didn't realize Devil Survivor was the DS thing, because that's a game
Yes.
people like and always talk about. But it's like, oh, that only exists because of the need to have DS as a thing. But people still talk about Devil Survivor. And
Yeah.
Dawn of Sorrow is really good. I was like, oh yeah.
Yes,
that's
Dawn of
that's
Sorrow
clever.
is one I didn't
Yeah,
pick up on, I
did
think.
not
Same.
think of that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think my favorite is also Zetsumi Dangerous Jisan DS : Dangerous Sensation, because they also have a superfluous extra DS in there, which in any name is not needed. In a name that already has 4 words before it is especially unneeded, but there you go. Thank you very much, Red Pages Podcast, for that awesome list. One more question, I think.
Yeah, and then Graham Walker asked in the Discord channel, how do you view the sustainability and ongoing availability of Noclip and Noclip 2? How long can Noclip's documentaries last? What if YouTube goes down tomorrow or in 20 years? Is there Noclip beyond Danny and the current crew?
Whoa, existential
Whoa.
question, man. Gee,
Exactly.
We're 2 hours and 15 minutes into this shit. Don't make Danny ask what the future's like without him, all right?
Future. Well, if you all sign up today at patreon.com. So let me do a quick version of this. The YouTube numbers on the most recent series haven't been amazing, but YouTube numbers kind of on all channels have been down. But I think we're at like 40,000 on Indie, and it's been 24 hours, which is like quite lower than what we're used to getting. Like our Machine Games doc did 75,000. The Wolfenstein one did 150. Like these are kind of low numbers for what I would have assumed was like a big studio thing. We'll see if the Disco Elysium one doesn't do gangbusters, then we're definitely something's going on. Anecdotally, people have been saying we've not been popping up on recommendations. YouTube's pushing shorts a lot more. I know someone who works in the sort of video industry, online video industry, and there is a lot going on behind the scenes with YouTube, with what they're doing with JavaScript and on the how stuff gets presented. So there has been Red Letter Media put out a video a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it, about how there's something going on. People were positing that this new ad block software that YouTube used was partly to blame, which is why some gamer focused stuff was getting lower number, like as much as 50% lower than usual. So that definitely threatens us for sure. Also, so does the feedification of YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely pushing people into shorts, and the app especially is getting people into shorts more, and the mobile experience, and that's going to have an effect on a crew that posts long documentaries about games. I also think we've covered a lot of big games, like a lot of the games that especially my generation of game player would have been into. We've ticked off a lot of boxes. So I do think it definitely puts us in an interesting position, sort of looking into our second decade after we turn 10 at the end of the next year. We have an insane lineup for the next 6 months. On Noclip, we've talked about obviously Disco Elysium, our Cyberpunk documentary. We have a pretty big first-person RPG. If you're a patron, you know about that one we're filming later this year. We're probably going to go back and talk to our friends at Supergiant. There's like a bunch of these ones that are going to happen over the next 6 months or so. And I think that's really exciting and will give us an idea. Noclip 2 definitely needs more patrons. We are at about half of what I think we need to keep that sustainable. So I'm super grateful to all the people who have joined up on Noclip 2. It's going to be more money out of my pocket, more money out of the war chest, whatever you want to say. War chest is pretty low, maybe non-existent.
Yeah, big
at the
pocket
moment.
if you're calling it a war chest, man.
Exactly. I've got a big pockets. You know, I wear baggy pants.
That's what the cargo pants are for. Yeah,
exactly.
All your money.
It's the war chest. So it's like that's going to be the case. But like, you know, we're not. If we were chasing the algorithm or chasing what we thought people wanted, this would be a very different looking channel. We are trying to build something new and trying to express ideas and ways about covering games and talking about games that perhaps don't exist much. So that's part of, you know, I think we all feel very passionately about the work that we do, and that's the motivator. So, so it all depends on that stuff. Like, if worst case scenario, I've talked to Jeremy, if Noclip, you know, if I disappear tomorrow, you know, I think Noclip, I'm happy to pass Noclip on to whoever on the team. I think Jeremy we've talked about you taking over it if the worst happened. All I would ask is that my wife and child are supported in some fashion. If it's continuing to make enough money to do that and support all the work that we do. I think if Noclip and all the crew, I mean, if there's some horrible plane crash or fucking global pandemic or whatever.
4 different spots across the whole globe, directly on us.
Yeah.
That's why we record remotely, is because if a tactical nuke
We're all the
hit
designated
building
survivor.
where we
Exactly.
record all together, then it would just be over. There needs to be one
Hegseth
survivor.
Gets like 70 of all the admirals in one room to do his stupid
Idiot.
fascist speech.
Moron.
Idiot. You know what I mean? Like, we're all, you know, we're here.
For many reasons, idiot.
Yeah,
Everyone has
totally.
one key to the YouTube channel, and we all have to turn them at the same time to launch.
We got to call for the codes.
So when that stuff happens, you know what I mean? But that's, you know, the way I think about Noclip is that like it will like I want it to be around for as long as it can be around. If it's around for the rest of my life, that would be amazing and great. And I think it has enough of a sort of it's designed to be somewhat evergreen. So like, and also we like the docs don't belong to us is the thing I always say. Like, if there's future copyright laws that allow people to, you know, we don't care if people pull the footage or like, the reason we record this stuff is to record history. It's to document history. I think that in many ways our videos are not documentaries. Like, some of them are more documentary than others, but
That's in the name.
They are aggressively documenting the current moment in a way that only grows with time. So in 20 years' time, these things are going to be worth their, you know, to some people, they're going to be the most important record of a game. Right? You know what I mean? That's just going to be the case. You know, in 20 years' time, when immortality is hard to get running on your quantum computer and, you know, half the cast are dead, or I don't know, you know what I mean? In 50 years, or that thing we made is going to be the thing that people can point at and go, "Oh, did you hear about this game? Watch this documentary that got made 30 years ago, and you'll learn about it." That's why we make them. You know what I mean? So in many ways, it's, if Noclip dies, that's fine, because we're here to record the present moment, and we're not trying to pretend like we're going to be around forever. You know, we're recording what we can. And if there's a time where we don't need to record anymore, or doing it this way doesn't make sense anymore, then it'll end probably. But I hope not.
I can't wait till the like generation beta Ken Burns interviews us in like 2070, and we're like, I remember when video games used to be 3D. I remember when there was only 3 dimensions. That's the era of the idea of doing Noclip forever is like I mean, I hope it exists, you know, until we're all fucking dead. But the idea of us all being old men talking about video games is the greatest thing I could possibly imagine. Like it's like the joke about how like, oh yeah, when we're all old, bro, we're gonna be like playing fucking Gears of War in the nursing home,
yes,
dude. But it's like that, but on a professional level is the funniest shit ever.
But also, no one can retire anymore because of the economy. So
yeah, we'll have
to. so we'll have to. Well, it's
We'll have
also
to do like speaking tours.
yeah, it's like,
fund our like diabetes medicine when we're 100.
it's like, how's everyone's 401k doing? We haven't started it yet. Okay, all right, okay. Let's make some more documentaries. Let's get out there.
More like a 41K with the amount of money I got. Yeah.
More like Warhammer 40k. Am I right?
It's gonna be that's there's like a shitty fucking never mind. I'm not gonna fucking spend the effort to expend on a shitty joke about a shitty joke.
Exactly. All right. At that point, look, everyone who's able to support us on both Patrons, we really, really appreciate it. Like, you've no idea. Like, we need it all. So thank you so much. And thanks for sending in the question, Graham, as well. Speaking of our Indiana Jones documentary, 55 minutes of it. I love the reception we've had to this series. We went that extra mile with it. Ole was involved, so we have 2 camera shoots for all 3 of them, so they look the fucking bee's knees. Frank did amazing work on the gameplay. And yeah, I'm super proud of them. I think they stand up as really great docs. Delighted to showcase machine games, especially in the, I didn't want to say this until it was kind of over and done with, but I definitely felt some way after the closing of Arcane Austin. I remember thinking, God, who's going to be next on the chopping block over there? And I worried about Indiana Jones and machine games and that sort of stuff. So, it's not like we can change the course of a studio's whatever, but it felt important to me that in the limited power that Noclip has, that we can get over there and tell their story and celebrate their heritage and some of the great stuff they did, because I think Machine Games is one of those studios that's packed with talent, and they're just typical Swedes who are very humble and chill about everything. So it's nice to go over there and toot their horn for them. Also, if you're a Noclip Patreon, our Warcraft review is up, so go check that out over on the Patreon feed. Japan's Frank video as well, of course, if you've missed it. Jesse's going to have a video up in the next week or so, highlighting some really important games. You want to give us a quick 101 on that one, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, everything that was going on a month or so ago and is still going on, just it has fallen out of the conversation with adult games, not safe for work content being restricted on different platforms, including itch.io and Steam. I wanted to make something to highlight great games that I think were impacted by that and likely will be in the future, talk a little bit about what was going on there and how we should try to support those developers in the games that they make as much as we can, even if we don't necessarily agree with the content within them.
Yeah, if we don't play them, or we're not down on it. Absolutely, yeah, I agree. So looking forward to that, Jesse. Awesome work on that, and also awesome work on Blowback. Season 7, 6. Okay,
yeah. Thank you.
7 will be next, I'm sure. Yes,
great series.
Yeah, if people don't realize, because I think your name got popped up on the credits on maybe the free one that went up, I forget. If people were like, "Oh my God, is that the same Jesse?" And it's like, yeah, Jesse also produces. He produces many of the best podcasts
Busy
in the
guy.
world.
Yeah,
this
one.
Not just ours. Talking Simpsons.
Yeah, Talking Simpsons. They're what a cartoon series as well. All those guys are great. Blowback Season 6, you should absolutely go listen to it. It's a fantastic story about the Angolan Civil War, the way that America impacted that country. Obviously, Russia and the Cold War that took place sort of surrounding that and the power struggles involved. Really interesting stories. They talk about Jeffrey Epstein at one point, and probably the funniest story in the whole show. It's a really,
I
really
couldn't
great
believe
series.
it when you told me.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, every season of Blowback is fantastic. Brendan and Noah are great. You should go check out the show if you haven't already heard it.
How do people get it again? It's
you gotta go to blowback.show, and they have a subscription option there that you can pick up and listen to it. It's not free. It is a paid show. You have to get access to that way.
I think the first episode is
episode's free, but who cares?
Yeah.
You're going to hear that and want all the rest of them, all 9 other episodes. Yeah.
I have swallowed Blowback over the years. It's my one. I'm actually listening to this one now, but it is the one that I've traditionally kept for a long road trip because I was like, I needed.
You can't. Yeah. Once you start, you're like, oh man, I got to know what happens next.
That's 100%. So yeah. Absolutely. It's you gotta go down the rabbit hole. So we'll be on to Disco Elysium next as well. For our first episode is actually edited and done. Jeremy's given it his thumbs up as well. With 2 of us have been working on this project for a long time, so I'm excited to get the rest of those out. I will be at South by Southwest in Sydney, Australia in a couple of weeks' time, so we will be doing a Sydney meetup at some stage for Noclip people. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm still trying to figure out my schedule While I'm over there, I am bringing a camera. I'm doing a talk with SkillUp at South by Southwest, and I'm doing a couple of other appearances around the Sydney, possibly Melbourne game dev scene. I will not be at the Melbourne video game festival. It's on the week prior to South by Southwest. I can't spend too long over there. I have responsibilities at home. But I'm bringing the camera. I'm going to be interviewing some devs while we're out there as well. So I'm reaching out to a bunch of people and I'm trying to fill that all up. So expect probably a week and a half from now to have details up on the meetup. I'm going to try and keep it to a weekend, but it's quite tricky. But I'll let you know either way. And also, if anyone has any suggestions for where in central Sydney, around where South by Southwest is on, to hang out. Otherwise, we'll just do it in the apartment that has been rented for me by South by Southwest. So we'll see if I'm sure they won't care if I just use that for
a party. Let's have a rager.
Exactly. Also, I interviewed Lente, the developer of Spilled. A great suggestion by the guys. I did not realize, because I played Spilled earlier this year and really loved it. Short game, very cool game about sort of cleaning up ocean ways, rivers and canals and stuff. Gorgeous art style. Developed by Lente, who I did not realize she lives on a boat in the Netherlands. And the lads suggested her as an indie dev highlight, similar to our one on Bryce Boucher. Boer. God, I forgot.
Yeah, Jeremy pointed out Lente. That was a great pick. Talking to her on a boat and everything.
Yeah, had a great chat.
We didn't talk to her on the boat, but she's on the boat, I imagine.
No, I did. She actually said that she purposefully went to her friend's house who had wired Ethernet.
No.
So that she could,
do it again. Get her on the boat.
So yeah, it was a great chat. So we're going to talk. You'll expect that up on Noclip 2 as well in the next couple of weeks. I'm also working away on the Mugenics preview. That's kind of like my big push at the moment. So we'll have loads of that stuff over the next couple of weeks, including Patreon exclusive pods on Noclip 2 as well this month, because it's our first full month here in October, and a bunch of other bits and bobs. I was a little bit slow on some updates on Noclip 2. I was posting stuff to not updates on the Patreon side, but specifically an update about some of the content that's going to come to it, which I promised at the end of last week, but then there was some sickness in our family, so I had to deal with all that stuff. But that should also be up by the time you're listening to this podcast. And that's a podcast. Patreon.com/Noclip, Patreon.com/Noclip2. Go check out all the stuff we're working on. And there's plenty more coming in the not too distant. All right, gents, shall we call it?
Let's do it.
It's been a long one.
All right, we're out of here. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. Go play some video games. Bye.